If you've ever spent a large portion of your afternoon just simply laughing, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks, and welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook, where we continue this crazy week. Hope some of y'all listened to me yesterday. Hope that not too many people panicked and got all bent out of shape, because yesterday was an amazing day. What does today have in store? Well, we shall see. We've got some more news to go through here today. We've got another session here today. We've got the T3 spot here today. We have Anne-Marie here today. So we have a full slate for you here today. Great to see a whole bunch of returning faces. Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook, the Tuesday edition for March 10th, 2026, begins right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. I hope that you all had a wonderful rest of your Monday. Of course, the world didn't end, and we are back for another session here today. It is great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here today. We're going to start with Peter, who is first. Peter, welcome back. Hope you're doing well, my man. Big Dave, good morning. Future's looking good, and war may end soon. Indeed. Who told you about that last week when I was observing the market trading? Just let that one sit out there. Francis, good morning. Welcome back. It's good to see you. Azrar, good morning. Welcome back. Zach McCracken, good as always. I can't help it, Zach. That name just gets me fired up. It produces more energy for me. I'll take that. Astro Kev, good morning. Hit the like before I even say good morning, Ryan. That's pretty impressive. Why can't y'all be more like Kev? Just kidding. Good to see you, Kev. Good morning, as always. Marty, I'm going to try and be more professional with my comments today. Quote, can someone please pass the Grey Poupon? Why, thank you, kind sir. Okay, well, I'm not sure how professional that is, but Marty, you're fine every day here. Just keep that sense of humor. We're going to need that. Buffalo by Bicycle, good morning. Welcome back. Yes, that girl. Good morning. Welcome back. Producers locked in and ready to go. Zach says, Joby had big news yesterday evening. We're going to talk about Joby. I actually have that on the slate for the news drop here today, so no worries there. A little bit of Archer news tied into that too, but it's also tied to Joby. We'll get to all of that. Crispy Biscuit, good morning. Welcome back. Robert, good morning. Welcome back. Richard Judge, good morning. It's good to see you as always. And as Richard says, don't forget to like the video. Indeed. What is this? Chores? Angly? I'm going to do chores or chores maybe. Good morning. Welcome. Hopefully you enjoy yourself here today. AC, good morning. Good to see you. Welcome back. Durkus, likewise, good morning and welcome back. Cad Monkey, it's good as always, brother. Nice to see you. Bernhard, welcome back. Austin, good to see you again, as always. Edro, good morning. Linda, good morning. Welcome back. Brian, good morning. Welcome back. I'm with you there, Ryan. Made me stay in bed till 8 today. I laughed so hard. There you go. Laughter is the best medicine, after all. Ethan, good morning. Day Trader, good morning. Gen Z Pool Guy. What a handle. Good morning. Welcome back. Marionette, good morning. It's good to see you as always. Jay Harris, good morning. Dusker, good morning. Better earnings play, Oracle or Adobe? So that's actually a pretty good question. We've obviously seen a rebound in software. Oracle looks like maybe that bottomed. I actually don't have one of these picked out. I think if I had to answer your question, I would probably select Oracle. But let's ask the group. Do you have any thoughts on what might be a better earnings play? Very, very specific there. What might be a better earnings play? Let me know. We can probably look at both charts today, to be quite honest with you. Robot to Trade, good morning. Welcome back. Still paper trading. Good morning. We're going to get you graduated. Don't you worry about that. Whisk, good morning. Cam, good morning. Pete, good morning. Rivian. Actually, I didn't even look at Rivian today. Let me add that to the list and make sure that I check that out. Good morning. Green Gold, good morning, good sir. Hey, we've got double good in the welcome. We'll take that. Positivity all around here today. Welcome back. HK, good morning. Tyler, good morning. Brandy says greetings. Brandy, I'm going to up you. Good morning, Brandy. Welcome back. I hope that you're doing well here today. Can we check CRM if we have time? Added to the list. Ask and you shall receive, Tyler. Still paper trading. Awesome. I already said good morning there. Day traders should run a poll for how long the war will last. Sure. I don't think I have any other poll ideas on. Go ahead. I have a feeling that the vote will not be an accurate representation. Let me just throw that out there. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and get started with our stock market today. All right, futures under slight pressure here today. They were around unchanged, and when the morning started here, they were actually up. S&P futures down 0.32%, Dow futures down 0.3%, and the NASDAQ futures down 0.28% ahead of Tuesday's open. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at some cues from last session. It was a wild one. Communication services, healthcare, and information technology stocks recorded biggest gains and led most S&P sectors to a positive close on Monday. Monday's rebound came as President Trump said the U.S. campaign against Iran could be nearing its endpoint, saying Tehran's military capability has been heavily degraded. The most dramatic action occurred in the options market. By 2:10 p.m. Eastern Time, oil prices were near $120 a barrel, and the S&P was down over 2%. However, by 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time, the 675 strike SPY call option price jumped 24,650% from 2 cents per contract to $4.95 per contract in roughly 80 minutes. SPY 0 DTEs were popping yesterday. Meanwhile, the 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.1%, and the 2-year bond was at 3.54%. There is no change in the CME Fed's watch tool. Those rates are going to be held steady in March. Now, we have several stocks in focus here for you today, and the first one is a double up, but it's thematic, so it makes sense here. This is going to be Lumentum Holdings and Coherent Corporation. The tickers are LITE and COHR, respectively. They rose 4.47 and 4.03%, respectively, following an announcement on Friday that the companies would be added to the S&P 500 later this month. This follows NVIDIA's $2 billion investment in both companies. The next stock on our list is going to be Strategy. This is a popular one. Ticker on this one is MSTR, and it jumped 3.06% after the Bitcoin Treasury Company, disclosed the purchase of 17,994 Bitcoins between March 2nd and March 8th for $1.28 billion, or roughly $70,946 per coin. Casey's General Stores is the next stock on our list. The ticker on this one is CASY, and it dropped 2.1% after reporting mixed results for the second quarter after the closing bell last night. Casey's General Stores Q3 EPS of $3.49 beat the $2.99 estimate. Sales of $3.916 billion slightly missed the estimate of $4.03 billion. The next stock on our list is going to be Vail Resorts, and the ticker on this one is MTN. It declined 1.28% after posting downbeat earnings for the second quarter and reducing its fiscal 2026 guide. Vail Q2 EPS of $5.87 missed the $6.21 estimate, and sales of $1.084 billion missed the estimate of $1.113 billion. The last stock on our list is going to be Oracle, and this is ticker ORCL. That was up 2.4% as analysts expected to report earnings of $171 per share on revenue of $16.91 billion after the closing bell today. All right, let's take a look at the SPY chart here. Yep, you guessed it. That is a bullish engulfing candle that we put in yesterday. The negative that I have is because a lot of us are waiting for a move down in the market to kind of reprice some of these stocks that might be a little bit overinflated on a fundamental or valuation basis. And a move down here in the SPY to the 200 or maybe a little bit beneath the 200 to get to the 5% pullback level from the all-time highs, that would be helpful in the long term. Just as a reminder, several analysts and traders that we've brought on the show are anticipating volatility throughout 2026. Several of those folks saying that they're expecting anywhere between a 10 to 15% drawdown. So we're really nowhere near that. A move down or a little bit of a prolonged move down, while it would have ruffled a lot of feathers and made a lot of people really, really scared, probably would have been better for the long term. We did not quite hit that 200-day before totally reversing here. And when we closed this candle, we did not yet test the 100, the 20, or the 50. It's really these three moving averages that have been kind of stacked on top of each other during the sideways formation. The 100 over the past 2 or 2.5 weeks has kind of joined this. It's really just been the 50 and the 20, but now the 100 is starting to get involved in that as well. Now, we rallied to test 680, but we didn't really break through this. And I know we've been in this washing machine market where we're kind of going back and forth. So if you want to be a little bit more conservative and not buy into the comments, the hyperbole, or the reversal just yet, that's understandable. If this pattern is truly going to be indicative of a reversal, today's price is going to have to close higher than yesterday's closing price. So if you got your pen and paper out there, if you're taking notes on this, the closing price for yesterday was 678.27. If we really want to feel pretty good about a reversal over the next several sessions, we really do want to get a close above that candle. Now, we're dipping here in the pre-market, but as we've seen yesterday and previous days, really what matters is where is the market when it closes. Obviously, headlines can move this stuff around throughout the course of the day. So in addition to the previous key levels that we've been looking at every single day, whether they're one of the moving averages or the 667.34 to 673 support area, that was a previous resistance area. In addition to all of that, I think you can add another key level here today of 678.27, which represents the close of yesterday's candle. If we want to break out further, we want to get a close above that candle. All right, let's take a look at some insights from analysts here. Jeffrey Bookbinder and Adam Turnquist of LPL Financial maintain a typically neutral stance on equities despite the ongoing conflict in Iran. While they acknowledge that geopolitical shocks understandably cause nervousness, they emphasize that the S&P 500 has historically been resilient, typically experiencing pullbacks of only 4.5% on average before stabilizing within a month. These strategists identify the energy market as a primary economic risk, noting that a prolonged shutdown of the Strait of Hormuz could push oil prices over $100 a barrel. However, they believe a full-scale recession remains unlikely, asserting that the global economy is, quote, unlikely to be derailed, end quote. We actually saw some tankers move through the strait yesterday, and there's some, I guess we'll just put it this way, there's some debate on whether or not that's actually closed. Bookbinder and Turnquist encourage investors to avoid emotional decisions. That's so important that I'm going to read it again. Bookbinder and Turnquist encourage investors avoid emotional decisions and remain diversified. I cannot repeat this enough. That is going to kill you. The more that you can avoid those decisions and be as tactical and plan-oriented as possible, the better you're going to do, especially in this environment. Their core message is one of patience. Quote, those who ride out the ups and downs in time will be grateful that they did, end quote. They view the current volatility as a potential opportunity, stating that the LPL Strategic Tactical Asset Allocation Committee, or STAC, STAAC, will look to add equities at lower levels rather than exiting the market due to short-term disruptions. So sounds like he's saying they're going to keep buying the dip. So that's what we saw yesterday. Here's what we got for today. NFIB Optimism Index for February, it was already released. That was at 6 a.m. earlier. And February's existing home sales data will be out by 10 here today. All right. Let's talk about some stocks. We've got Kathy making some noise here, and one of this is going to be about Joby. So we're going to tie all this together, much like the rug tied the room together in The Big Lebowski. Kathy Wood bets on Tesla, says Palantir is having a 1980s PC moment as Trump hints at the end of the war with Iran. I guess the other poll idea here that I had is, what do you like more, Tesla or Palantir, for an upside longer term trade? But we can go with Day Trader's poll if you want. ARK Invest CEO Kathy Wood is projecting a massive shift in global markets, predicting that post-war Iran and a transition into the electric vehicle realm will send oil prices plunging as geopolitical tensions ease. In her latest In the Know episode, Wood highlighted a 90% drop in Iranian missile and drone activity, suggesting that the regime has been significantly diminished. Who else said that? God, I can't remember. This cooling of conflagration aligns with President Trump's recent characterization of the conflict as very complete. Trump doing everything he can to use a bunch of different words to trigger people yesterday, and it is magnificent seeing those reactions continue to pour in this morning. Wood views Iran's young, well-educated population as a coiled spring ready to explode into the global tech economy once freed from repressive constraints. And I would agree with this, too. We were fortunate on our Benzinga Happy Hour program to have an Iranian gentleman who told us a lot about the history, a lot about what the people there feel, and what he currently did. And this is a guy that worked some of the highest tech jobs, companies like Google and Meta, and then the infrastructure that's needed for them. I've seen this with my own two eyes. I would agree with Kathy here, and we can only hope that we can unlock the incredible talent that is in that country and others. Quote, you've got a coiled spring in terms of a population that really wanting to join this very exciting world, especially the world of technology and innovation, end quote. Who doesn't want to join that world? Central to Wood's thesis is the collapse of traditional energy dominance. She argues that the Middle East is aggressively diversifying because leaders recognize the impending dominance of autonomous mobility. Wood predicts oil currently near $90. In fact, crude futures here this morning, I probably should have given that to you when we updated here. Crude futures this morning are indeed $90.14. She sees that these could move below 50 per barrel and perhaps much lower over the next 5 to 10 years. This transition, fueled by Tesla and the scaling of the electric vehicle realm, let's throw Pete's Rivian into that. As autonomous electric platforms become less expensive, the structural demand for oil is expected to evaporate, a shift Wood describes as happening slowly, then all at once. The way I would look at this, just because of my own nature and just because of what I've seen before, I'm going to wait for the all at once thing. I'll wait till I see that. I am still in the camp that although I'm sure we eventually use less and less oil as technology proliferates and other means of power and electricity generation take root, I still think that this shift is going to happen slowly. And I would caution anyone on expecting it to happen quickly. We'll see if Kathy ends up being right on this. Beyond Energy, Wood identified Palantir, ticker PLTR, as a primary beneficiary of the new productivity era. She compared the current AI breakthrough to the 1980 PC moment, noting that frontier models are now disrupting traditional software. Wood noted that enterprise platforms like Palantir are helping companies navigate, quote, all at once, end quote, moments in automation, driving a step function increase in productivity that could reach 5% annually. By combining Trump's signals of regional peace with the rapid adoption of AI, Wood suggests that the market is climbing a wall of worry towards a technology-driven boom. If nothing else, Kathy is consistent in her love for technology, that is for sure. Really quickly, just a quick recap here on Tesla. Shares of Tesla have declined 11.35% year to date. It was up 14.9% over the last 6 months and 51.78% over the year. Tesla maintains a weaker price trend over the short and medium terms, but a strong trend in the long term with a with a solid quality ranking in the 68th percentile and a strong momentum ranking nearly in the 84th percentile. Now, Zach already primed us here for Joby, and let's talk about that. So Kathy Wood bets on Joby as Sean Duffy's advanced air mobility push targets air taxis and medical transport. Investor Kathy Woods-led ARK Invest bought additional shares of Joby Aviation as the company announced it was partnering with the Federal Aviation Administration, or FAA, amid the Department of Transportation's, or DOT's, eVTOL push. I hope you got all of those acronyms in there. On Monday, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy announced that the Department of Transportation was undertaking 8 new projects as part of the Advanced Air Mobility Pilot Program, sharing that the program will, quote, radically change the way people and products move, end quote. Duffy also said that the companies in this program will see various applications of eVTOL aircraft, including, quote, urban air taxis, regional travel, cargo logistics, and emergency medicine, end quote. He goes on to say this will create one of the world's largest testing environments for next-generation aircraft in states all across America, end quote. He added that the program was scheduled to kick off in the summer of 2026. And for anyone that wants to go through the actual tweets themselves, or if you prefer the comments, that's up to you. Here is the link to that article. Have fun. Or you could just watch the Jetsons GIF over and over again. Joby hails Sean Duffy's announcement. Quoting Duffy's post on Monday, Joby's official account shared that it was collaborating with the FAA, quote, in multiple winning applications for the FAA's eVTOL Integration Pilot Program, or the EIPP, end quote. The company hailed Duffy's move, sharing that the U.S. took a major step forward, leading the next era of aviation. The program, undertaken by the Department of Transportation, would let the company begin operations in 2026 in 10 states across the U.S., with CEO JoBen Bevirt hailing it as, quote, a defining moment for American innovation, end quote. Wood's investment firm also acquired over 20,300 shares of the company via ARK's Autonomous Technology and Robotics ETF, that's ARKQ, for anyone scoring at home, as well as an additional 7,450 shares via its Space and Defense Innovation ETF. That one is ARKX. The trades translated into approximately $276,000, considering Joby's closing price of $10.04 a share on Monday. ARK's total stake in the company is now over $51 million. The news comes as Joby's recent partnership with Uber Technologies, ticker UBER, which sees all-electric air taxis starting in Dubai via the official Uber app, also resulted in the company acquiring Uber's Elevate division. The division has been working on developing a ride-hailing network of eVTOL aircraft. Joby's Q4 earnings also proved to be a tailwind for the company as it reported a quarterly loss of 14 cents per share, which beat Wall Street expectations of losses amounting to 22 cents per share. It also posted Q4 revenue of $30.84 million that beat the market consensus of $16.96 billion by a whopping 81.79%. Now, Joby doesn't have great scores yet in the Benzinga Edge rankings, but we are very early in this story. Now, one more thing here to kind of tie this together. It turns out that Archer, the other one we look at here, ticker ACHR, files a countersuit against rival Joby, alleging they have China ties and fraud amid their FAA partnership. Electric vertical takeoff and landing, or eVTOL aircraft maker Archer Aviation, ticker ACHR, has filed a countersuit against rival Joby Aviation, ticker JOBY, alleging that the latter's ties to China amid a theft of trade secret lawsuits filed last November. The countersuit, filed in California, accuses Joby of hiding and then leveraging its ties to China to gain an advantage in the eVTOL sector. That was reported by Reuters yesterday. Archer also accused Joby of defrauding the U.S. government and receiving grants from the Chinese government. This countersuit claims that Joby purposefully misrepresented, quote, thousands of pounds of Chinese origin aircraft materials and consumer goods to evade U.S. tariffs and foreign influence oversight, end quote. The news comes as Joby announced it was partnering with the FAA via the eVTOL Integration Pilot Program. I'll get that eventually, EIPP. This program will let the company begin to operate in 2026 across 10 states, as we just discussed. We talked about Kathy adding there to Joby. Archer, on the other hand, reported underwhelming Q4 earnings when the company reported an estimated EPS loss of 26 cents, which missed analysts' expected loss of 24 cents per share. Archer also reported revenue of $300,000, while liquidity remained at $2 billion. So is this something to keep an eye on? Is this sour grapes out of the company that looks to be behind? You tell me what's going on here. And Zach, I think I'm assuming you're really following the eVTOL developments here. I'd love to hear what you think about this. Okay, next piece of news here relates to lithium. And this is important because we've talked a lot about this. We've talked a lot about some of these materials, and we've had a whopper of a trade in ALB for those that have been playing it. California-based lithium and geothermal power developer Controlled Thermal Resources, or CTR, is going public. The firm will list on NASDAQ through a SPAC merger with a blank check company, Plum Acquisition Corp. 4. The deal values CTR at a pro forma enterprise value of about $4.7 billion and is expected to raise $300 million in fresh capital to advance development of its flagship product in California. Once completed, the combined company will trade under the ticker CTRH. The transaction is expected to close in the second half of 2026, pending shareholder and regulatory approvals. I know we often talk about some of the SPACs here and what they morph into. I'll drop this article in the chat for you as well. Might be one to keep for your notes if you're looking for something else to trade. The firm has been pursuing a public market debut since at least 2021 as part of its domestic critical mineral strategy. Its key project is Hell's Kitchen geothermal and lithium project in California's Imperial Valley, about 160 miles southeast of Los Angeles. Doesn't Los Angeles have a Hell's Kitchen restaurant? Let me know. By extracting superheated geothermal brine from deep underground, the project would use that heat to generate electricity before processing it to extract lithium and other materials. Then, by re-injecting it underground, the process becomes a closed-loop system. Quote, few people simultaneously address energy needs and mineral security at scale, end quote. That came from Rod Colwell, CTR's chief executive, and said in a news release, quote, Hell's Kitchen is structured to deliver clean baseload geothermal power alongside domestically produced strategic critical minerals from a single integrated brine resource, end quote. CTR plans to deploy direct lithium extraction technology developed with water treatment firm Aquatech, allowing separation from geothermal brine without traditional evaporation ponds. The firm plans the project as a phased development that will combine renewable power generation and lithium production. Initial construction should include a 50-megawatt geothermal facility and a lithium carbonate capacity of up to 25,000 metric tons per year. The target for first power is 2028, and for lithium production around 2029. At full build-out, the site could generate up to 650 megawatts of geothermal power and approximately 100,000 metric tons of lithium carbonate annually. CTR is also targeting additional minerals in the brine, including zinc, manganese, potash, rubidium, and cesium, which are considered increasingly important for advanced manufacturing and national security. CTR has already secured supply agreements with automakers, including Stellantis and General Motors, that's ticker STLA and ticker GM, respectively, to provide lithium for electric vehicle batteries, although the final volumes under those contracts may change as development progresses. The project has received a conditional use permit from local authorities, and it also is designated for an accelerated Fast 41 federal infrastructure permit. CTR says that it has raised more than $285 million in private funding and has already invested heavily in long lead equipment ahead of construction. So we'll see if this gives us something else to trade or something else to invest in. I would love to hear if any of that is exciting, especially for those of you that follow the whole power play. All right, we said it was Tuesday. That means it is a T3 Tuesday, and it is time for our guest. Let's go ahead and give a warm welcome to Scott Bauer. Scott, good morning. How you doing?
What's going on, Ryan? How are you?
I'm doing really good. Look, I'm enjoying free agency, but perhaps more importantly than that, I enjoyed the reversal that we saw yesterday. It was awesome. Good to see you again.
You as well, and I agree on free agency. I was just talking to someone about that last night. It's been pretty good for the Bears.
Been pretty good. Hope that continues today. Folks, join Scott Bauer this Thursday at 4:15 Eastern to learn the three-step option system he uses to turn volatility into high probability trade setups. Let's just start right there. We are seeing a ton of volatility. You don't even need to look past yesterday to see that with your own eyes looking at the charts. I'm going to let you pick and lead here. Volatility in the market, volatility in oil, volatility in some of the commodities like gold and silver. What are you looking at, and where has your success been?
Yes, the answer is yes across the board. Volatility is a trader's haven, and sure, we can see extreme volatility when there's times that maybe you want to step back a little bit, but this type of environment is unbelievable for traders that understand how to take advantage of that volatility. In fact,
Yep.
one of the things I'm going to be talking to my students about today is really kind of identifying the right strategy during the right time, right? When we're in a period like this where we're seeing market gyrations, the skew, which is a whole nother conversation, the put skew that we've seen just so incredibly out of whack, there's a time for certain strategies. There's also a certain time when the VIX is trading 15 or 16 and we're seeing things much calmer to get to the same end result with different strategies. So one of the things that we break down is, how do you trade in this environment right now? Whether you're bullish or bearish, okay, that's fine. But how do you trade this volatility? And so the answer is yes. So I will tell you that over the last, week or two, we've been trading a lot of risk reversals. We've been trading a lot of iron condors, selling premium, especially bullish iron condors. Many people think that an iron condor is just a neutral trade, and rightfully so, because it can be, but it can also be a directional trade. It can be bullish or bearish as well, where you're still looking for a range. And so in this environment, we are looking to capture credits. We are looking to capture option premium, all the while being 100% risk defined, which you can still do even in this kind of marketplace.
Okay. Can I just put you on the spot here and ask you what some of your trade plan might be for oil?
Yeah,
Oil,
absolutely.
better.
So we've been focusing really on XOP
Okay.
from the equity side of things. XOP, rather than just diving into one particular stock, or rather than trading futures, we have been focused on this ETF, which is very, very representative of oil futures. And we've been short over the last couple of days, even through the massive overnight swing. We've been long put spreads with XOP trading up at 164, 165 area. So this morning we will probably look to cover some of that. And if we get a rally back up, I will put on more put spreads. And I think it's just a great opportunity, because this is one of the things you look at and say, okay, from a technical standpoint, there's nothing up here, right? How
Mhm.
can you short it? It's kind of one of those feels, if you will. If you do go back to, I think, all the way back to like 2022 or so, when we saw these spikes, and a lot of them were during the beginning of the Russia Ukraine event, the beginning of that, we do see that there is actually some resistance up here,
Mm-hmm.
XOP.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we play that? Obviously, option premium, very, very expensive. So you have to be careful if you're buying premium here. But what we were doing is buying butterflies and buying broken wing butterflies. And a strategy like that, although it might sound, that it's, oh my God, if I'm a new trader, I can't trade something like that. Really, what that type of strategy does is hedge the volatility risk, but give me the directional risk. So that's really where we have been at in the oil space.
Okay, that's really good. XOP, I drew a possible inverse head and shoulders on this. I have a trend line that originates back in, I think, 2014. That's getting snapped with this recent move higher. So, okay, good stuff there on XOP. Look, I want to ask you about a bunch of stuff. Silver, gold, tech. I'll let you pick where you want to go. Are you looking at any of these sectors? And if so, how are you approaching the volatility there?
Silver and gold, we have still been buying the dip.
Okay,
Okay.
great. Our community is going to love to hear that, Scott. Absolutely love to hear that. What do you got for? Let's start with silver, and then let's do gold real quick.
Yeah, again, in since I'm trading this mostly on the equity side,
Mhm.
SLV and GLD is what we can focus on.
Sure.
So on the dips that we have seen, it's been a great trade. SLV, we are actually long some call condors. And I don't want to put out something that sounds really, intricate, but basically we have bought some call spreads on the upside and sold even higher strike call sides in SLV, looking for a move up. What has been unbelievably successful for us in GLD during these sell-offs, again, I'm going to go back to the iron condor because implied volatility option premium is so expensive. We have been selling bullish iron condors. In fact, we did one yesterday. Full transparency here. We did one yesterday, and I'll give you the exact strikes that we did. So yesterday with GLD trading down, it was somewhere between 467, 468. We sold this week's expiring to capture a ton of premium, the 465, 460 put spread and the 480, 485 call spread. So $5 wide on each side.
Okay.
You've got $15 between the shorts, between the 465 and 480. Excuse me. And we collected almost $3 for that yesterday because premiums were so expensive. Now, someone may say, well, what about this volatility we're seeing? What if what if you get a blowout move one direction or the other? Obviously, that's not what we want to happen. We want to see GLD just for this week kind of remain between 462 and 483. Those are our break even points. 462 to 483. Anything inside of that, we make money. If it does happen to blow out outside of that, not what we want to see, but our risk is completely 100% defined. It is limited. So this is the kind of opportunity over the last several weeks that we have really been looking for, selling these expensive iron condors. We did one in Taiwan Semi yesterday. You talked about tech. We did one, a very bullish one in Taiwan Semi yesterday, basically when the stock was down at like 333. And we sold pretty much an at the money put spread. We sold a far out of the money call spread that expires this week. We $5 wide again. I think we collected $2.75 for that. And if you look at the charts on Taiwan Semi, you can see the reason we did that there was not just because of expensive option premium, but that stock was coming down to major support.
Absolutely.
Major support. So I didn't want to just sell a put spread or buy a call spread. I wanted to take advantage of something that would give me all of this expensive premium to capture. So we sold that at the money put spread, way farther out of the money call spread, expires this week, and it was a massive amount of credit to collect. Those are the kind of opportunities that we don't get to see all the time. But when you're in an environment like this, trading risk defined, you can put those odds in your favor.
Okay, that is awesome. And this was a perfect segue to the next question that I had for you. Folks, if you like what you're hearing here, join Scott Bauer this Thursday at 4:15 Eastern to learn the three-step option system that he uses to turn volatility into high-profit trade setups, the very ones we are talking about right
Yes.
now, as a matter of fact. So I love the trade there on TSM. I love the rationale for it. But the question that I had for you, and I'm going to put you on the spot again here. I know you can handle it. You're from Chicago after all. What does tech do next?
I think tech is way oversold, but that doesn't mean you just close your eyes, pick a tech stock, and say, okay, this is the one I'm going to be long. Okay, I think you do have to be a little choosy right now.
Okay.
So I always talk about best in class, whether it's tech, whether it's retail, whether it's the banks. Those are the ones I focus on. So in the banks, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and
Mhm.
in retail, it's Costco, Walmart.
Mhm.
In tech here, I think Meta is definitely oversold. Now, I'm not just going to go close my eyes and pick a point to buy it. I certainly want it to be in line with some technicals or fundamentals. I think Nvidia has been an unbelievable trade for its range bound, that it's respected its ranges recently. It did again yesterday. Google, Alphabet, I think is one where not only is it an unbelievable trader, but it's one where you kind of look longer term also.
Yeah.
So I'm a very short term trader. I'm not a day trader. I'm a very short term swing trader. But if I were to look at a particular stock and say, this is something I want to potentially put in my 401k, my IRA, whatever it is, Google out of all of tech is probably the one.
Okay, that's good to know. I like Google too. I like this higher over the long term. This is one, Scott. I don't know if I'm going to get this, but this is one. If this thing came, if we had a little bit of a market panic and we had some more volatility, and this thing came into the 200, very much like Taiwan
Oh,
Semi
yeah.
came into the 50, we're backing up the truck, buddy. We
You
are
got it.
backing up the truck at that point.
I'm
Uh,
with you. I am totally with you.
And I want to float something else here before I let you go. This is actually something I was discussing with my co-host yesterday. Where you brought up Meta there, and generally speaking, I dislike this company because I dislike Facebook. But I have to do a kind of reassessment of everything given the AI angle that Meta's getting
Yeah.
into. What do you think about the potential? I don't know if this is going to happen. We're just speculating here. What do you think of the potential of Meta being able to take all of the data that it sees from its new Meta wearable glasses, like all of the video that the things are constantly shooting, and using that for AI training?
That's above my pay grade.
Okay.
It's listen, when you spell it out like that, it 100% makes sense.
Hmm.
100% makes sense. And it seems like something that they'd be able to do pretty quickly as well,
Hmm.
not something 2 years down the road. If that is something that they choose to do, if that's something that they can put out there, that's got to be a positive for the stock. It
I, and
it
I,
it,
I would
it literally does.
completely agree with you, and I would just kind of add my own layer on top of this. I would say that the market would view that so positively. I
I
think this
agree.
stock would set some new highs.
I agree. So are these stocks, are they going to bounce back immediately here? Maybe, maybe not. I think you do have to have a little bit longer view. And in my world, longer means 8 weeks,
Hmm. Hmm.
3 months. Longer does not mean a year. In my world. But I would stick in an environment like this, especially if you're newer to the game as a retail trader, whatever it is. I would stick with best in class type stocks.
Totally. Totally. We have a lot of discussion about that. Here we go. Buffalo by Bicycle from our chat saying, I agree, Scott. Why mess around with stocks that aren't quality when you have all of these that are high quality?
100%.
Okay. Scott, really good stuff here. Join Scott Bauer this Thursday at 4:15 Eastern to learn the three-step option system he uses to turn volatility into high probability trade setups. Scott, this was a great preview of that. Great breakdown here. Do me a favor, cross your fingers, do your rain dance, do whatever you can do to help the Bears sign a pass rusher today. For heaven's sakes,
man,
that's what we need.
Come on, maybe Hendrickson, we'll see, or Hendricks, we'll see.
I got my fingers crossed. Scott, really good stuff. Can't wait to check in with you next time. Have a good one, all right? That is Scott Bauer from T3. I know I keep saying it. Impressed every time we bring these guys on here. Scott's outlook here, great. The way he is making money off of that, equally as great. Really good stuff from him here today. All right, folks, got about 15 minutes until 13 gets on here. I have a couple of other news stories, actually just two, and then a tweet that I want to look at. This won't take long. First one here, BlackBerry and AMD team up. I read this headline and I thought, what is this, 1998? What on earth is going on here? BlackBerry and AMD team up to power faster, smarter machines from cars to robots. Advanced Micro Devices, ticker AMD, is expanding its ecosystem partnership and product lineup as its shares rebound amid geopolitical uncertainty and discussions over export policies. BlackBerry's ticker BB QNX division announced expanded support for AMD Ryzen embedded processors, enabling developers to build new systems with these chips using the QNX software development platform 8.0. The move broadens the company's collaboration and gives manufacturers another option for building systems used in cars, factory equipment, robots, and medical imaging devices. QNX said the Ryzen embedded V2000 processor is the first to work with the platform and will support the Ryzen AI embedded P100 processors that are planned next. Developers can already access the tools needed to start building applications using that supported hardware. The company said the collaboration aims to help manufacturers create systems that run reliably and handle demanding tasks in industries such as automotive, industrial equipment, and healthcare. AMD shares rebounded on Monday as investors weighed the geopolitical tensions going on, potential new U.S. export rules for AI chips, and the company's latest product and licensing developments. The stock recovered after falling last week amid a broader semiconductor sell-off tied to discussions of new export regulations and tensions over the U.S.-Israel conflict with Iran. Between February 27th and March 6th, AMD shares declined 3.9% compared to the 6.8% drop in the PHLX semiconductor index, while the NASDAQ composite fell 1.2%. Separately, ADIA, a ticker ADEA, signed a multi-year licensing agreement with AMD, granting the companies access to ADIA's semiconductor intellectual property portfolio and resolving all ongoing litigation between those two firms. So AMD, we'll see if this is a little bit of a laggard that can catch up. I know AMD's got plenty of following, both in our show and with the broader market. Dive deep, saying I bought AMD yesterday. There you go. Let me know if you have any targets for this. Now, we're still good on time here. One more thing. We talked a lot about AI and robotics and all of that. Got another one here for you. A stalwart Texas Instruments. They don't just make graphing calculators, folks. They make other things too. Texas Instruments announced on Tuesday that it is expanding its artificial intelligence capabilities in everyday electronics with new chips, while also strengthening its technology portfolio through a major acquisition. The company introduced two new small computer chips that are built-in artificial intelligence features to everyday electronic devices. I hope that this is good, but we'll see. The new MSPM0G5187. Come on, guys, call it something easier than that. And the AM13EX chips enable devices to run AI tasks locally rather than relying on external systems. Texas Instruments designed them to make electronics respond faster while also using less power. The company said these chips can help power products such as health wearables, home electrical systems, robots, and industrial machines. The chips include a special component that handles AI calculations more efficiently. Compared with similar chips without this feature, the new design can process AI tasks up to 90 times faster and use more than 120 times less energy. Pretty good numbers there. Texas Instruments said the MSPM0G5187 chip can also keep costs low with prices below $1 when bought in large quantities. The companies designed the AM13EX chips for motor control applications like home appliances, robots, and industrial systems. The design allows devices to manage multiple motors while also running AI programs that monitor performance and improve efficiency. Texas Instruments chips are already available, and the AM13EX chips are currently available in limited pre-production quantities, with broader versions expected by the end of this year. Now, recently, Texas Instruments agreed to acquire Silicon Labs, that was ticker SLAB, in an all-cash deal valued at about $7.5 billion. Under the agreement, Texas Instruments will pay $231 in cash for each Silicon Labs share and plan to fund the transaction using cash on hand and arranged debt. The deal is expected to close in the first half of 2027, and that's obviously subject to regulatory approval. Texas Instruments said the acquisition will expand its technology portfolio by adding about 1,200 wireless connectivity products and combining Silicon Labs' wireless and mixed signal expertise with Texas Instruments' analog and embedded processing capabilities. Indeed, more than graphing calculators, without a doubt. Of course, I say that tongue in cheek. All right. 10 minutes till pre-market pulse. Let's go ahead and knock out our street tweets here. Hopefully we can give you another little laugh. All right, first tweet here is again from the Kobisi letter, and this is showing the oil. Yes, this is an oil price, not a meme coin. U.S. oil prices surged nearly 10% in 2 hours and rise back above $91 a barrel. Again, that is holding here now at $89 a barrel. But look at this. We don't call it oil anymore. We call it cryptoil because it trades like crypto now, or at least has been here. Producer, next tweet. Aramco CEO said, "We will reach maximum capacity for pumping oil through the pipeline within days." So we're actually already hearing quotes from others out there that the oil supply is going to continue. And we'll see what kind of impact this has on oil. With its meme actions here, do we trade up, down? Do we do both? Do we have large intraday swings? That's what we've been seeing recently. I would love to hear any of you that are still looking to trade oil or have a trade thesis on oil. I would love to hear it. I think that there's going to be more of that. I know some of you are already on that. Okay, let's go back to Pro. And we got 8 minutes. I will try and tighten that up. I'll try and make it a little bit more perfect tomorrow. We are expecting 13 here pretty soon. In the meantime, we're going to start with ticker time. You folks have already given me 2. We'll start with those. We're going to start with Pete's Rivian here. Forgive me because I'm going to have to catch myself up on Rivian as it is not something that I watch normally. Rivian traded up 3.25% yesterday. It is up another almost 4.5% here today. 1658 is the current pre-market price, and you can see why that's important because that means if we close here, we curled off the 200 in the process. We recaptured the 20. And now with today's move, we are gapping above the 100 and the 50. Here's the other thing that I want to highlight here, I guess is the right word. I think that if Rivian can continue to trade higher here, this has nothing to do with fundamentals. This is just based solely on the chart. If Rivian can continue to trade higher or maybe even sideways here, we can get this 50 to change its slope and no longer be pitched down. This would help us avoid an impending death cross. Now, I say impending death cross because the 50 is currently sloped down, but if we can get that to change a little bit, we can avoid that nasty chart formation. Now, let me take a look here at the news. How about that? Today, TD Cowen upgrades Rivian to a buy and slaps a $20 price target on it. The stock was in the 15 handle when this thing came out, so still a pretty good amount there, but you're getting that. And then on Friday, March 6th, Rivian wants the R2 to accomplish something Ford and GM couldn't, and the record that it was chasing, here's one of the goals here. The catalyst. I thought it was right here. Selling 20,000 R2 vehicles in 6 months could put the vehicle in select company and ahead of other highly anticipated launches, according to data compiled by TechCrunch. Only the Model Y from Tesla has completed 20,000 or more deliveries in under 6 months, with the vehicle accomplishing that feat 4 months back in 2020. So, Pete, I'm putting you on the spot. Does Rivian take this out? Do they set this record? Do they sell over 20,000 R2 vehicles? I'll say this. I'm not a huge fan of Rivian or Tesla for that matter. So I don't really think my opinion carries much water here. But every time I talk to people that are into electric vehicles, they rave about the truck. They rave about the truck, how nice it looks, how it's got all these other amenities. You can plug stuff into it, have disco parties out in the middle of nowhere, all of that stuff. So there, again, the firsthand anecdotal experience that I hear about these, all very, very positive. The company just loses so much money. Let me know if you think they can get above this 20,000 vehicle milestone. But again, going back to the chart here, I think you've got some constructive things going on the chart. The thing that I like the most here is the hold on the 200 after the pullback from the big move higher, right? Now, we went in waves. We pulled back awfully quick. And then we get the notable break above the 200, recapture the 200 in short order. In this case, we broke it again and recaptured it again. Then we came back down to earth. Finally, we did a little consolidation here, and it sure looks like now we're starting to curl back up. Again, this is above the 20, which is now pitched up, and we're in the process of taking out the 100 and the 50 there. Let me take a look at a longer-term chart just to see if I'm missing anything. No. I'll be on, and actually, now that I've moved this to a weekly chart, this stands out a little bit more. I kind of see this, right? I kind of see this here. And can I extend this a little bit further back? Oh, I love it when a plan comes together, folks. So this would be something else that we could use as a key level in case Rivian does or reverse at some point. Let me know. Let me know what you think on this. The other one that you folks wanted to take a look at was going to be CRM. And we'll go ahead and bring that up here. This is the one that I make all kinds of errors with because this in CrowdStrike, for whatever reason, my brain just cannot get it figured out on a relative basis. Now, CrowdStrike, or I didn't even plan that. I'm just a dummy. CRM here. This was down 1.6% yesterday. It's about flat here today, but you can see recently we did not test the lower support. This is a long-term support that originates all the way back in 2016. It actually lined up pretty good with the volume shelf there, your volume point of control down at about 151.5. We never really tested this level, and it looks like we're trying to curl back up. The good news here, at least in the immediate future for the CRM chart, is we have recaptured this 20. The 20-day moving average has been suppressing us since the middle of January. Now that we've recaptured this, we have several closes above it. Actually, it looks like we threw in a bit of a back test there and then started to push away from it. This, to me, sure, I know we have this little gap in here that's about, 205 up to 211. So you got that little gap, and then you got the 50 sitting there overhead at 216.88. That'll probably be closer to 216-ish by the time we get down there. And we also have a previous support trend line that is likely to act as resistance. So sure looks like in the near future here, CRM might continue this bounce, but we do have some sticky areas that we're going to need to get above in order to have some more constructive upside moves. Okay. 8:58. We're going to give you a little bit of a bonus time here. We're going to start our pre-market pulse segment and bring on 13 just a scotch early. Good morning. How are you doing? Looks like it's still overcast down there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're still got some cloud cover here. Not giving me a whole bunch of light right now, but it should improve as the morning goes on. But that's fine. You know, I got bright screens in my face. You should see.
I'll bring enough light for both of us, buddy. Don't you worry about that.
How are you doing, everybody in the chat? Let's get some money made here today.
Yeah, look, I don't know if we're going to be able to top yesterday given what we saw, but we will absolutely try. Really quick before we move over to the movers list here, do you have any thoughts on the Rivian or the CRM chart that I just talked about?
Well, let's take a look here. Rivian and CRM, huh? Rivian, maybe there's some resistance coming up in the 16. Well, we're actually, I'm looking at the closed section there. After, pre-market, we're at 1675. So we're trying to clear the 50-day SMA. If we continue to move up, I think resistance is going to be felt somewhere around 18. But let's just see if we can hold above the 50-day SMA for at least one day. We did have a close above that on February 13th. That was another Friday the 13th. And then the very next day, we went right back down to the 200-day SMA. So I want to see the price hold above the 50-day SMA. That's the big thing for me here if I'm interested in Rivian.
Yeah, that sounds very much like what I just said here. The other one here real quick was CRM. We'll go ahead and take a look at that.
Here we go again with the 50-day SMA. That's going to provide resistance. We need to get back above 200. I get the sense that that's, look at the past few days. Been trying to pull the price over that level. It's great that we're holding the 20-day SMA. So I think that I would lean more confidently into there being a bottom in for this. Just don't know how that's going to look trying to recapture the 50-day SMA and this trend line that I have. I don't know if you've got it drawn on here, but I started from the Liberation Day low of April 7th, and I drew it through the low of August, and I just kept that going. And now that's a former support turned resistance line there. So that's pretty close to the 50-day SMA. That's where I think the resistance is going to be. That's what I'd like to see recaptured.
Okay, perfect. Really good stuff there under the gun. Let's go ahead and take a look at our movers section. We'll go through this list here. Let me flip it to pre-market because obviously we don't have any results since the regular session is not open. First one that we have on the list here is going to be VTAC. This is Catheter Precision. This had an impulse move that took us above 3, an immediate 50% retracement, which we see a lot out of some of these, let's call them junkier movers. We are actually beneath the VWAP right now, so that right away would be something that we have to recapture. We'll see if we get some support here at the 65 EMA on the 5. The piece of news here, VTAC announces a definitive merger agreement to acquire 100% of Fly Flight Incorporated. It acquires the remaining 80% equity in Fly Flight from Created. The financial terms of this are so far undisclosed. But that's absolutely being viewed as positive by not just our news desk, but the market as well. Stock is holding higher here by 53%. Quick peek at the short interest, 6.47% of the float is shorted. That was actually a jump up from the earlier February print that we had. We do have 1 day to cover on this. On average, this stock is another one of those. That's a ghost town. On average, 77,000 shares trade. For whatever reason, we've traded 27.66 million shares here today. Float right in our wheelhouse, 1.729 million shares. 13, what do you think here on VTAC?
Well, this is one of those stocks that has me scratching my head. And as I, go on to talk about this, you'll probably start wondering the same thing. But this is a medical device company that is now that just merged with an aviation company. This company, Fly Flight, they've already got assets and flight approvals. I'm sorry, not what like the flight worthiness. It's kind of weird. I'm not exactly sure what that has to do with it's a VTOL company. I'm not exactly sure what that has to do with this company, Catheter Precision, but they are trying to go through a business restructuring. They sold a whole bunch of non-core assets recently so they could focus on their electrophysiology growth. So again, not sure how that's going to that plays into eVTOLs, but electrophysiology. Okay, maybe there's an electricity play here. You kind of got a bit of a roadmap to how we got to this point because back in February they secured up to $36.5 million in financing. And then in February 17th they announced that they took a 20% equity position in Fly Flight, and now today they finished purchasing the rest of it via equity. So now they own a eVTOL company, and I'm trying to understand why.
Okay. So this is I'm still going through the PR here, and I will do the same deal where I'll have AI help me try and analyze what's going on here. But I did really quickly earlier was covering a story about the Joby, right? So I'm going to really quickly go back to the story here. Let me know if this rings any bells for you, 13.
Okay.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy announced that the Department of Transportation was undertaking 8 new products that will radically change the way people and products move. He then went on to say that the eVTOL aircraft he sees the various applications, of eVTOL aircraft, including urban air taxis, regional travel, cargo logistics, and emergency medicine.
So I was kind of wondering to myself, is this going to be some kind of like, rapid response, airlift medical supplies, to a specific location? That's as far as I took that thought. I don't know, what the connection between electrophysiology and eVTOLs are, other than the electricity that powers them both.
Yeah, and I mean, like they say in here.
But that's interesting though, because if we are looking at mobile air mobility for rapid response medical services, that's probably a game changer.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can read through the PR here. They talk about how it's a transformative business combination. They say the acquisition reflects VTAC's strategy of selectively deploying capital into operating businesses with tangible assets, scalable infrastructure, and clear path to durable value creation. So it looks like they're trying to do the right thing, but maybe we don't fully see the connection here. Something to watch, though. Something to watch without a doubt. Anything
now,
else?
As far as levels go,
yeah. No. Look, it's a good breakdown here, but we're actually rolling over as we speak. Yeah. So let's get to the levels.
Okay, so yeah, I had 286 as a resistance area. We're not coming back up to that at the moment. To me, this looks like we're probably going to find some support between here and the 65 EMA, if not the 65 EMA itself. So if there's going to be a trade here, I'd wait for this to find a bottom.
Okay. All right, really good stuff. Now, what's that?
I said, good morning, Jay.
Before, I'm glad you said good morning, Jay, because it's time to do some victory laps. It's time to do some shout outs. When you make really good calls before the actual action happens, this is what's going to happen. You're going to get what you deserve here. So indeed, good morning, Jay. I got to say, big time shout out and a one up here to 2 members of our chat from yesterday, Jay Rice and Big Bees, both talking about looking at the oil short plays yesterday before the market opened, before the huge reversal. Jay, if I recall correctly, you had said SCO is the oil short, by the way, or for what it's worth. I can't remember exactly which one you said. Anyone that listened to you, anyone that kept that ticker on the back burner or watched it throughout the course of the day probably saw a good opportunity to trade there. I know Big B's absolutely smoked both of those trades, both in the down and the up direction yesterday. Big time shout out for you folks. Big time shout out. The earlier you put stuff like that in the chat, the more it gives the active investor something to think about. And you guys hit the nail on the head yesterday. So good morning. Welcome back. It's great to see you. Keep those good calls coming. All right. Keep those good calls coming. We're going to move on here on the movers list. Next one is going to be INKT. This is Mink Therapeutics. This stock popped here. Actually looks like it ran into a double top intraday resistance at about $22 there. We did back down a little bit from that. We're holding right here at 1577, but we're beneath the VWAP. We'll see if we are able to recapture that. The news on this one, See Further unveils the first therapeutic programs dedicated to pediatric oncology, and Mink Therapeutics announces a collaboration with See Further to advance the PRAME, P-R-A-M-E, targeted inked cell therapy for pediatric cancer. So secures about $1.1 million in developmental funding with this. The stock is up 53%. Currently holding $16 right now. A quick peek at the short interest. 1.8% of the float is shorted with 3.87 days to cover. Take a look at this. This thing barely trades normally. Trades just shy of 12,000 shares per day. Today, we've done 9.6 million. And the float, again, in that wheelhouse for us, 1.74 million. What do you think here on INKT?
Well, I think that there's not going to be a risk of them really needing to raise any capital. They did get 1.1 million in financing with this deal. See Further, they also had cash to begin with, so I don't think that there's going to need to raise any more money with this company, even though they don't have any revenue. So in the future they will, but right now it doesn't seem like that's the case. So far, we have not been able to hold above the VWAP this morning, despite a couple of times going above it. Just can't seem to hold onto it for longer than about half an hour or so. That's going to make it the big level to get back over. I have resistance, a little bit of resistance at 16. We've recaptured that. The VWAP I have just shy of 17, so I think that 17 handle and the VWAP is going to be a resistance area. And then after that, of course, I have 18 as the next resistance area, and then we should see some better movement beyond that. I think we just need to be patient with this one. It looks like it's trying to bottom here. The MACD indicates that the momentum has stopped accelerating to the downside. We're kind of leveling off. So if we start to recapture that VWAP, I think that this could start to come back up towards the $20 highs it was making earlier this morning.
Okay. All right. Really good stuff there. INKT Mink Therapeutics. I don't think I've ever traded this one before, so no feel for this one as well. All right. We have another stock that is literally running as we speak and is now at the top of the mover list because of its impulse move. Stock here on this mover, ATPC is your ticker. This is Agape ATP Corporation. Let's take a look and see what news is driving this stock higher here. Forges a strategic collaboration with UAE-based Citadel Investment. It's going to jointly mull opportunities in oil, gas, and petroleum products. Well, that's pretty vague, but pretty well timed, if you ask me. Quick peek at the short interest on this one. 2.16% of the float shorted with 1 day to cover. On average, the stock trades 817,000 shares. It's traded over 6.5 million today, and it has a float that is under 1 million shares, coming in at 980,000. So it being up 88%, you can kind of see that given by its float here. We're pulling back from the 450 highs. We're basically right at the VWAP here. 13, what do you think on ATPC?
Well, there's another healthcare company that's involved with something that it's normally not involved with. So maybe we'll see a lot more of this this year. Some of these companies making a strategic change to their business or strategic moves that help grow their business. Didn't go over this one, so don't have a whole lot to add to this, except that the float is very, very small, less than 1 million shares in the float. I think you may have said that already. So that is going to make this thing interesting in terms of there being a trade just on that, just on the size of the float alone. Mm-hmm. We're holding above the VWAP right now. Ran into resistance around 450. What does a larger term chart look like? So this thing has pretty much been dead until today. This thing got absolutely hammered down last year in December. Don't know why, but I'm sure we can figure that out. We are trying to get back up above. It looks like 5 is going to be a big resistance area if we can get back up there. 50-day SMA I have at 342. We're currently trading above that, but if we lose that, I think that we probably want to move on.
Okay. All right. Good stuff there. ATPC. So we've done that. Inked, VTech. Next one here is going to be Baiynd. This is BIYA.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I forgot that you have a pet name for this one. This one really kind of disappointing. I would say of all of the ones that we've talked about here, the price action, not great on this one. We had an impulse move yesterday. It took us up to 280 in the after hours. We retraced just a little bit of that, but this morning it almost looks like reality has set in. We've had 2 legs down, and it looks like the most recent attempt to recapture the VWAP was met with a rejection, and now maybe we are going to test the bottom of that. That level down there at 180, so that would immediately be one to take a look at. Looking at the news here, I don't have anything. I got no fresh news. In fact, the last piece of news I have was a Form 6 from February. So this to me looks like maybe just maybe there was something on the Twitter streets. I'll have to look, but looks like this is moving here on no news. Quick peek at the short interest on PIA. 4.11% of the float shorted with 1.28 days to cover. On average, stock trades 624,000 shares. Done double that here today, 1.2 million already. 1.11 million in the float. All of these meeting our criteria for some of these low float movers. 13, what do you think here?
Yeah, I think this is just a low float China pump.
Yep.
If you look at a daily chart, you see that it's just got these random pockets of volume. There's just like these one-day wonders, and the very next day, we're right back into business as usual, going lower, creating bag holders. So if you have an interest in carrying luggage, this one's for you. Otherwise, I think that some of the other ones we're looking at today are much better trades.
Okay, really succinct breakdown there. HIMS is on the list here. This is the HIMZ. This is, of course, the 2X ETF that mirrors HIMS. That's why it's actually this high on the list. If you were to take a look at HIMS itself, this looks the same. Perhaps we challenge the 24.5, 2460 area that we did yesterday. That was one of the highs. Looking here, we had some price target rearrangements. We actually had a full-on upgrade here from Bank of America. They upgraded him and hers health to neutral. This is on the back of them resolving their spat with NVO from yesterday. They also raised the price target to 23. We're currently at 23.75, so that's been met. Citigroup also upgrades hims and hers health to neutral, and they raised the price target to 24. So getting a little bit of a analyst, maybe some upgrades here and some price target adjustments, but we're basically right at where those price targets are. 13, did you have any thought on the underlying HIMS or the ETF HIMS with the Z?
I didn't look at HIMS. We already had the news yesterday. I think that if there's going to be any more upside, it's probably going to be due to short squeezing.
Okay, so if you're talking about something technical like that, I think one of the things that might induce that is a break above 2469, 2470 here, maybe even 25 if they're gonna.
25 is the level I was saying yesterday. That's right there, pretty close to the 50-day SMA. So we could get both of those recaptured, at the same time, a single day. So that's what I have as my next level of resistance. We'll see if it ends up, taking that out or not.
Okay. I do want to cover this real quick because I think I might run out of energy. And one of our viewers here, Tara, was already mentioning it. This is going to be NEO. NEO shares are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q4 financial results and issued stronger than expected Q1 revenue outlook. I actually didn't have these in my notes. Let me grab that for you. EPS 4 cents. That actually beat the 5-cent loss estimate. So that's pretty good there. And sales here, 4.954 billion. That beat the estimate of 4.6 billion there. Looks like they see Q1 sales 3.5 to 3.6 billion. That was versus a 2.97 billion estimate. And deliveries jumped 71.7% year over year to 124,807 vehicles. So, fat margins and a 2026 outlook that dazzled Wall Street. Gotta love any word that has 2 Z's in it is good to use. It gives me happiness. So in any case, NEO here trading up by about 6.5%. Let's look at a daily chart here. So I have like this recent area that was previous resistance and support. I want to call it 5.5. I'm just kind of estimating that. That to me would be the next spot. We're at 524, 5.5, 550 right there would be the next spot. 13, you got any thought on the NEO chart today?
Maybe 6 could be a resistance area. Looking through 2025, that was a support and resistance area, more resistance than support. So here we are beneath that level. I think that if we do manage to recapture, well, we are slightly above it right now, but if we can hold above the 200-day SMA and go on to test 6, that's where I think the resistance could be. I'm just not, sure about some of these EV companies in China right now. They are having a bad time. We're going to see most of those EV companies gone by 2030. So. NEO and some of the other ones, I think XPeng and what's the really big one, BYD. Those will likely be fine, but there's so many EV companies in China that I think that as more of those start to close their doors, it's gonna be great for some other businesses, but it's gonna create an overall sense that EVs in China just aren't really worth the investment right now because they're all losing money. They're all heavily subsidized. So if the government can't afford the subsidies anymore, then these companies are done.
Okay, well, There you go on Neo. All right, I got a couple more of the small ones here that I wanted to take a look at. Actually, I only have two more here, but I suppose we could look at Teladoc too, as that's trading up by 12%. That wasn't on my list, but we can take a look at that.
I
Go
was
ahead.
going to say there was one other that I looked at, but it went right back to zero. Just it was NXGL. This was a Benzinga exclusive, so it ran and came back in. Maybe keep an eye on it because they're still expected to close this in early 2026. This acquisition deal.
Okay. I actually didn't look into that. Interesting, though. Disappointed with the pop and drop there, however. Next here is going to be Beat. This is Heartbeam. This had another impulse move that took us just shy of 2. By the way, this stock reports earnings in 2 days here. So if you're going to trade this, get that figured out before you enter. We pulled all the way back to the 65 EMA. We've bounced, recaptured the 9 EMA. It looks like we are on our way back up to 176, which is going to be your VWAP, maybe higher than that. The news here today, Heartbeam and Mount Sinai announced a strategic AI collaboration to bring critical grade heart monitoring into the home. Now, I should probably read through this a little bit more, but I'll be honest, just kind of reading that headline there, this actually sounds pretty good. And obviously the AI name drop in there, maybe that has some more juice for this stock. 6.5% of the float shorted, 4.28 days to cover. So there's some there. It's not crazy high. An average stock trades 11 million shares, done 22 million here today, floats 29.5 million. 13, you have any thoughts here on Beat Heartbeam?
175 resistance. That's where the VWAP is.
Yeah.
That's what I think is. I mean, that's what's been providing the most resistance this morning, given all the upside and the inability to really hold above it. I don't think we've got more than 2 closes above the VWAP here on the 5-minute chart. So I think that's the big resistance area. And if we do manage to get past it, 180 is going to also provide its own set of challenges.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's really all I've got as far as Beat goes. I could probably spend more time on it, provide some other levels, but just a quick look at it. That's what stands out.
Okay, cool. Next here, and this is the last one that I have on my list. We can actually do ticker time for the remainder here, and also one more caveat. That's the wrong thing. One more call to action here. We do have Anne Marie today, so start thinking about some of those breakdowns that you want to see in potential options trades. I'll get those over to her as early as I can so we can get through as many of the stocks that you folks want to see as we can. Just make sure that I know when you throw the ticker in there that you want me to give that to Anne Marie. Anyway, next here is going to be RXT. And really the reason I'm bringing this up, 13, is because this has been a recent trader for us. I know we talked about 260 really kind of being a double top here, which we've been unable to break above. You could make the case that we kind of got a downside support trend line here. If maybe we'll see how it ends up shaking out. And then maybe a 260 horizontal line there that gives us a little bit of a triangle. We'll see what ends up happening here. Let's take a look at the news and see what's moving this here today. Rackspace and Unifor, announced a strategic partnership to define a new category of infrastructure to agents architecture, accelerating enterprise AI adoption. The alliteration there just gets me pumped up as well. It collaborates with Unifor to provide infrastructure to agents. Okay, that's popping this by about 12%. Quick peek at the short interest, 11.91% of the float shorted with 4 days to cover. So this is one of the more elevated names that we've looked at here this morning. On average, the stock trades 22.68 million shares. It's only traded 3.5 here today. So while we'll probably get to our average shares traded there, we're not there very early. We'll see what ends up happening. And then the float here, much thicker than all of the other ones we've looked at 111 million. Do you have anything on RXT?
Depending on where you want to draw the sideways consolidation channel, we've pretty much been in that for a couple of years now, maybe even 3 years now. Since when we came down here, it was still pretty early into 2023. So we've been sideways for 3 years, and the $3 area has been a big area of resistance, which we're coming up to. So if we manage to if we do manage to get up to $3, I would think that that's going to once again provide some significant resistance. We need to start seeing some closes outside of that consolidation in order to push further. $4, if we can manage to recapture 3, is going to be the big level to start closing over, because that's going to represent another area of sideways consolidation before we lost 4 back in December of 2022. So I would think that 3 being the next resistance area, I don't know that we're going to get through it the first attempt up there. We might, but that's going to be the next big level to keep an eye on here for resistance. You can just look at a daily chart to see that since 2023, 2020, late 2022, we've just been in a sideways consolidation channel.
Yeah, I mean, I know we dipped out of this a little bit, but we're right back in there. So, okay, really good stuff, 13. I'm going to flip over to the regular chart tool here.
Hold on. I want to just point out one thing that we talked about yesterday when it comes to a stock, GSIT, G-S-I-T.
Okay, I'm going to let you do that here. Let me put that on the screen. I'm going to step away for just 1 sec. I'll be right back. Is that okay, 13?
Yeah, that's fine. Right. So this is another semiconductor name. This is in the APUs. They also do SRAM, static RAM. There's been a lot of talk about this one, but they have a conference that they're going to be speaking at today at 2:30 Eastern. It is the iAxis Alpha Virtual Best Ideas Spring Investment Conference. I don't know how they fit that all into one placard, but that's what they're going to be speaking at, and I think that's going to be worth at least putting on your radar to see if we get any movement out of this. This stock has been having a really good move lately since the October highs. It's come back in, kind of found a bottom, and it's looking like it could turn around and recapture 10 pretty soon. So very interesting name in the semiconductor space, getting a lot of interest in this. And I think that conference today is could provide some news. We are coming up to a potential break over $9, and that's why I'm interested in this conference. I want to see if that, what is said there today, gives it enough movement to take it over 9. So that's what I've got for GSIT. Did we go over the TSM monthly sales? I don't know if Ryan did, but I saw him talking earlier about that, so he may have. When he gets back, we'll take a look at that. And what else do we have here? Bitcoin at 70. I thought it was at 71, but it was up there. We got some good strength there in Bitcoin this morning. I don't know how long it's going to last. Market seems like it's ready to go green. We did get a bullish engulfing candle yesterday. So
I covered that, 13. I'm sorry, I'm struggling. These new headphones, man, they are a pain in the ass to put in my ear. I am so sorry. Let me put up the SPY chart here, and I'll have you give that breakdown.
What breakdown?
The bullish engulfing candle, kind of what you were covering in happy hour yesterday.
Oh, gosh. Okay, yeah. So if this is going to be, if this pattern is going to resolve the way it's supposed to, then we're going to see higher prints. I've been looking at potentially opening inside the real body today. It looks like we're about to get that. And then we should come up to 680. That's going to be the big resistance area today. So we need to clear 680, close above that, and then afterwards we have the 20 and 50-day SMAs that was providing all kinds of resistance last week and the week before. That's going to be the next areas to clear after that. But 680, need to recapture that if we're going to go any higher in here.
Okay. Jay is asking, did you go over the TSM monthly sales? We didn't. We actually looked at TSM. Did you cover this while I was stepped away?
I addressed it. I didn't cover it.
Do you want to discuss anything else here?
I thought you had maybe already talked about that because you were talking with your guests about TSM. So
no, we talked more about the chart and the hold of the 50 that produced a really great trade there. So I would say we can probably do this too.
Okay. Well then, Jay, we did not. Let's cover it.
All right, here. So this is, I'm assuming what Jay is mentioning here. TSMC reports a 22.2% year-over-year revenue growth in February, despite a 20.8% monthly decline. January and February were up 29.9%. Is that the headline that you guys were talking about, or am I missing something here?
It might be the headlines he's referring to. Okay, I'm trying to understand this.
That's from their February revenue report, which I don't have in front of me.
Okay, so monthly decline, we're talking all 2025 or what? I guess it's a little ambiguous here for me.
It's actually fair. It's ambiguous for me here too. It sounds like they are up 22% year over year in revenue growth, even with a slow month.
Okay.
That's how I read it here.
Yeah, I was
Jay, give us your insight on this. Give us, when you ask us stuff like this, give us some of your context and thoughts so we can go back and forth and not wait for you.
I don't think this really changed anything for me. I've been on the side of TSM is probably really undervalued compared to where it should be, being that it's the main supplier to the most prestigious companies that need these AI chips, NVIDIA and Microsoft and Amazon. And yet it's only got a market cap of 1.8 trillion. Yet this is like, I think, the most important company in the world.
The thing behind the thing.
Yeah. Never mind NVIDIA and all those others. I mean, you don't have NVIDIA without this. So, nothing's really changed for me. I think this should be worth way, way more.
Yeah, and Jay said, okay, he thinks that reads decent. I would agree with that. On the surface, I would agree with that. So, okay.
No, it's good news, but I was trying to just understand what they were referring to by the monthly decline. Like, are they referring to all through 2025? I guess it was. I just wanted some more information about what this headline was referring to. But yes, it is good. It is positive news for sure.
Why is my scanner? Oh, I just had to load it. That's all. Okay,
and we're open.
Good. We're good.
ATPC going up.
Yep.
This is trying to break through the 450 area.
By the way, this isn't the most tradable fair value gap setup, but we did have one from here to here. It entered it, it bounced, it recaptured the VWAP, it went up to 450. So that's happened. This gap has been hit now, so it's no longer unmitigated. Didn't trade that myself. See what else we got here.
Just looking for
him straight up out of the gate.
Yeah, so VTAC not doing a whole lot. INKT not doing a whole lot. ATPC is the only one that's really getting any kind of movement, any kind of volume, but it's not going anywhere. None of these are going anywhere right now. Not yet.
S&P 500 moved to the VWAP. It's actually through the VWAP now, so we'll see if that keeps pushing here. The NASDAQ is pushing higher out of the gate, so that might be with some of the other stocks that you folks are mentioning, like AAOI, some of the other tech stocks that are trading up. Here is AAOI. Let me back out of this chart a little bit. ATPC, this looks like it's going for the highs again now. Here you go. So 450. I tell you what, 450 sure seems to be that spot there. We'll see if we can get above it. ATPC. Were you also looking at INKT?
I was. It wasn't doing a whole lot at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see if it holds 15. But ATPC looks to be the big mover here out of the gate. We're actually through 450 on that recent candle. 473 the high there.
VTAC trying to get up towards VWAP here at 230. I'm sorry, 224. AMPX, keep bringing this one up. This is over 18 now. This is the drone battery play.
Yeah, look at that. Nice move there, AMPX.
And there goes ATPC.
Yeah, there goes ATPC again, 487, the new high there. What?
508.
510 now. Take that. All right, really quick here. Jay, you had mentioned something earlier on Kohl's. I wanted to highlight this real quick. Just a nice little relationship here. I can't find. Oh, yeah, Kohl's. Be aware, it's been some tough sledding for some of the retail names. Gap last week, Crocs, ANF, AEO all gave up the gap ups. So we're seeing that here on Kohl's. Jay, this was a good relationship mention right there. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Market's still holding higher here, has not reversed yet.
Okay, so I just got a notification about how VTAC can only be liquidated.
Yeah, so that means that's one of those that's with the broker specific thing. And someone mentioned that. Someone mentioned that VTAC was restricted on Webull. Whoever that was earlier, good mention. That's what's going on there. That's that same restriction that we talk about with sometimes TOS has it, sometimes the other brokers have it, but that's what's going on. Oracle is spiking down big. They have earnings tonight. Oracle's down 0.5%. And that, by the way, this is why we wait. That little SPY move up, immediately reversed, trying to bounce again now. We'll see, though. Here's the Oracle move down. This 150. Yeah, Brent, thank you. Thank you. Sorry about that. I couldn't remember who it was. I knew somebody did it, though. Yeah, people on Webull are good. So let me ask you, you Webull users, is there a method to reach out to the team like there is on Charles Schwab? Can you have that restriction removed, or are you just kind of stuck with it?
Well, I'm sure I could reach out to them and see if I could get that removed, or if I could, if they might want me to sign something, understanding the risk.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
It's fine. I mean, there's plenty of other stocks to trade.
Indeed.
I'm not gonna waste my time with them on the phone to just be told maybe or no or something like that. So I'll just move on and find something else.
Yeah, no, that I totally understand. That's the same boat that I would be in here. T-Doc, we talked about this being higher in the pre-market. This is straight down out of the open. We'll see if the 65 EMA catches it there at 564. They do make you read a thing. Now, Tara, is that Webull that you're referencing there, or is that a different broker that you're giving us that on? Because there, you just saved 13 a phone call. Frankly, you just saved him a phone call.
Oh, well, yeah, you did, but it's not like I was going to call him.
No, I know. Look, trying to tie it all together here. All right. Let's see. What else do we have going on out there? Pain Pal, more pain. Your VIX check-in, quick check-in on the VIX, 2450. So we reversed 10 points yesterday, down another point here today.
Yeah, Jay, I think that's a lot of just the rotation. You're seeing a lot of rotation out of it on some of the names, and they broaden that to other parts of the market. And then once they've reached a low enough point to where they become slightly attractive to dip buyers, they get bought back up. And that's just like that back and forth. I think that's what's happening here, because we've been seeing a lot of rotation for the past couple of months. So that's what I would think that we're seeing here when it comes to the Mag 7, just a lot of back and forth rotation.
I am seeing some Ondas put sweeps here. Wait, these are the 30 puts?
Big
for
seller.
January of 2020. Okay, they're selling the 30 puts. That's what that is.
Big seller in the way here, ATPC at 455. Just appeared. VTAC, I don't know why I'm even mentioning this one, but it's back up to the VWAP.
Okay, that was for Thinkorswim, Terry. Yeah, that we've had a number of folks do that. Good. Glad they were able to do that for you. Nothing else really notable yet on some of these. Yeah.
Brian mentioning.
Oh, Brian.
Brian, with your name with a B, is mentioning BE. Bloom Energy up 3%, trying to recapture the 20-day SMA. This thing has just been, back and forth pretty much the majority of the year. Just in the sideways consolidation area from about 132 to basically 180.
BTC, Wendy's Tendies. I love that name so much. Wendy's Tendies here saying that BTC out for blood. That's interesting. BTC still up 1.3%. Now, right from the open, we were right at about 71,000 on the Bitcoin futures chart. That is a straight move down here. So from that open, indeed, it is down. Just keep in mind, it is still up 1.3% on the day. SPY is still pulling back from that reversal. NASDAQ as well.
I think that we're going to get a lot of back and forth with Bitcoin around here. We're going to probably see mid to low 60s, and then very low 70s. I think that's the back and forth range we're going to be seeing for a time here with BTC.
Okay. Ryan, love everything related to food. Yeah, I mean, yeah,
it sustains.
Duh. I said something about words with two Z's are great, and the first thing I saw in the chat was pizza. Mm-hmm. Which is undeniably great. So, yeah, absolutely, Lion. And absolutely.
What's on that pizza that has two Z's?
Mozzarella.
That's right.
Mozzarella. I was like pepperoni, but there's no Z's in that. SGN signing day sports. This is our penny stock du jour. This had an impulse move. Where was that? Up to about 85 cents. pulled back to the 15 EMA and is bouncing again. I am trying to make amends with all of you. I am not trying to discriminate against penny stocks. I just don't like them myself. You guys saying pineapple. I'm disappointed. JJ, Wendy's, Tendies, love you guys, but disappointed.
It's gotta be significant for you, like a stock that you've really looked into and researched. It's got to be like ONDS if you're going to pick up a penny stock. Pineapple and anchovies. You know, you can have your own pizza party there, JJ.
So I don't know if you remember, but back in the day, I can't remember how many years ago this was, but one of the interviews that Rogan did with Elon Musk, it was, I guess, late at night, and Rogan's got this pizza place that he likes, and he's hyping this extra large pizza with pineapple and anchovies, and he's going on and on about how the flavor combo is so great. And I'm thinking I'm like, this is disgusting. It's just me. Neo, thank you for keeping me on track there. Supric, let's take a look at Neo. Continuing higher here. So we did actually take out that pre-market double top area that we spoke about earlier. We took that out quickly and came back in a little bit. See if we hold this area, 434.
550. That's the. I mean, we're past the 200-day SMA, but the next resistance is at 550. And we've already got resistance from it once.
Market is trying to bounce here. It looks like just kind of a reflexive bounce back to the VWAP there on SPY. I would want to see it take this out. I don't know if I trust this yet.
Well, at least we got our open inside the real body. Now we need to finish the day higher. We need to close higher than yesterday's close.
I mentioned that this morning when I did my breakdown on SPY because I think you're exactly right.
Yeah, so I mean that's what we need to see if we're going to resolve higher with this pattern. So let's just, we'll get some back and forth, but I want to see that 676 area hold up. That was resistance on Friday when we gapped down. We blew through that and held above it, but that's been historically pretty much for the majority of the year so far a big support now resistance, support and resistance area. But we are above it right now, so it's currently supported. Oh,
look at you, Mac. Boy, you're right about that, Izzy. You were right about that. Did this have news? Yes, it did. Needham reiterates buy on unusual machines, $20 price target. Let me check what that Ondas
had earnings yesterday too.
Ondas here. Ondas subsidiary 4M Defense receives the first operational order from a multi-year demining program in Israel, order worth approximately $15.8 million. So this is an initial order, part of a $30 million demining program by one of its subsidiaries. Also, Needham reiterated a buy on Ondas and maintained its $17 price target. So there's your news here on Ondas today. Ondas actually up 0.72%. The first move was down, but it is back in the green so far. And market, that bounce faked out again. This is why we wait. Lower we go on SPY.
And Crim Biscuit, you want us to, react to smelling that? The smelling salts?
Yeah, so I've heard that too. I've kind of kicked around that idea. I was like, should I get some of these and try it? You guys just want to see me make a sour face on stream. I'm on to you. I'm on to you.
I might not need coffee that day, but we'll see. ATPC, this is trying to push higher back into the 5 handle. They just brought a big seller in that's walking it down now. It might be gone though.
Really, that 5 area seems to be the area that it's going to need to get above to really make some more move to the upside here. It looks like it's been rejected at that a few times.
Yeah, this is the third candle that's getting rejected at 5. Matter of fact, a couple of candles haven't even got up there. It's only been able to get up to about 488, 485. Need to see some, the volume right now needs to be a lot bigger if we're going to hold above 5.
SPY indeed is having trouble here. We are pulling back. It's not just the SPY too. NASDAQ's doing the same thing, and so is the Dow.
Speaking of pullbacks, we had a really nice double bottom there at the 5% level in SPY yesterday. don't know that we're going to continue to hold that if we keep hammering that level, but we haven't been back down there yet.
Let's see if Coles is fading yet. Actually, this looks like this might try 16 here. It did pull back to the VWAP and bounced, though. Marionette saying, any thoughts on the AMC earnings? I don't. I think this is a meme stock. I don't take it seriously. I don't trade it. I don't own it. I don't really care what it does. They have earnings?
When do they have earnings?
Let me take a look.
Looks like not until May.
Their last earnings was February 23rd. I don't know what you mean there.
Well, let's see. They reported earnings, the 18-cent EPS.
He mean okay. He said AMC. Any thoughts on the aftermarket close earnings?
Oh,
all right, Marionette. AMC is a ticker. AMC is a ticker. AH is how you want to abbreviate that. After hours. AH. I apologize for not understanding what you were asking.
Well, do we have a list of what's reporting?
I can get that here for you. Oh, you know what? I actually might have a pretty graphic instead of this text. Let's see. Bang. Here you go. Tuesday after hours. Looks like we've got Oracle. That's going to be the big one. We talked about that in the opener. But we also have AV. So maybe some of these drone players will move off the back of that earnings. We have Joy, FNV, BLND, Groupon, EVLV, which we have been taking a look at recently, LDI. Some people have been playing Loan Depot here recently. So I think Oracle and AV are going to be your big ones. Those are the earnings there. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on those.
Didn't we just look at EVLV this past week or so?
We did.
I thought that was one that we were looking at and trading.
Yeah, we did. I think we also talked about this on Happy Hour because this is in that security AI-based touchless security screening. So
that's it. Yeah, this is interesting. I don't know how well it's going to perform. Maybe it sees 6 from their earnings print, but this has been in a downtrend for quite some time now, since October. Got one bounce, but still in the downtrend. So kind of curious to see if this earnings is going to turn that around, because it seems like on the daily chart we may have double bottomed down around 485.
Okay, SPY is trying to bounce here. The one thing I'm seeing here is that it's not strong enough to get above its VWAP yet. And in fact, my indicator that provides entry and exit is kind of flashing on and off. So it looks like it hasn't really determined. We are kind of in a choppy trend at the moment here on SPY.
Yeah, ATPC, I'm just kind of watching to see if we can get back over 480, because this one looks like if we can, it's going to blast through 5, but we need to see a big expansion of volume here pretty soon. CAPR is flying, says thinking about it. IGV, Jay is mentioning that Matt Tuttle thinks the software was a trade and hardware is still where you want it to be. Watch ATPC. I think we're getting that push. Just need to get some volume expansion to take us through 488, 485, and we'll have a big. Oh no, they brought another seller in to lock it back down.
Izzy saying Ondas price target, Ryan, and Ondas price target 13. Yes, we just mentioned that. We literally just mentioned it. Need him $17 on Ondas. That's fresh as of this morning. And again, Bounce and SPY is sold here. Got to be careful with these. Got to be careful with these. See if really what we'd be looking at here, this 675 crack to the downside probably means we speed up a little bit to the downside. Right now, it seems like we're kind of back and forth a little bit here.
Lucid, let's see, this was mentioned by Suprick. Lucid is moving higher. Surely enough, this is actually trading above the 50-day SMA for the first time since October last year. That could be significant, especially if we continue to close above the 50-day SMA. That could indicate that we are turning around here, and we need to see a recapture of 1250.
Did they? Yeah, they did a 1 for 10, and this was September of last year. I was going to say, I believe it was the fall of last year. It was a 1 for 10. I think it's been trading better since then. No.
It's been in a downtrend for the longest time. I don't think that we've stopped the downtrend, but we've seemed to have slowed down. So it looks like we are trying to bottom here.
LGVN, Longeveron being mentioned here. Webcoin saying this is a nice pop. Indeed, it is. Longeveron, it is a penny stock, but we'll see if we can get the dollar territory there. Marvell on the list.
Wow, ATPC just absolutely getting slapped down. There was a seller that was walking this thing down.
And then there was, of course, ABTC, just to make that harder. Now I'm getting the ticker screwed up here. ATPC, here's what we got.
Mm-hmm. Seller walked it down. I wonder if this a buyer steps in and tries to pull it back up. There's a little bit of a fight going on between the bulls and the bears right now in ATPC.
Okay, looks like it's gonna. Well, we'll see what happens if it firms up here at VWAP. You remember, I would not get too excited about the fair value gap. We already tested that, so that is no longer unmitigated. You guys are all mentioning Rivian. Pete's Rivian from this morning. Pete, I'd asked you earlier what you thought here on Rivian. It is moving up here back, man, above 17. Nice little move above the pre-market highs there. So giddy up on Rivian. I is trying to bounce again. I'd be really curious on that VWAP. That to me is going to be the thing.
$18 for Rivian. That's the next resistance that I see.
12% in 2 days. I'll tell you what, that is a good 2 days here. How much more room you think this has? I know you're saying 18. I'm sorry, I was not clear in my request there. I apologize for that.
I mean, this could go well into the 20s if it can hold above, recapture and hold above 18. It's nice that we're holding above the 50-day SMA. The thing that always gets me about this is how much money it loses.
Yep, me too. That's my biggest problem with it. LITE, this is continuing. I'll tell you what, all these optical stocks, CIEN, that's the other one. AAOI, which you guys have been on, all of these looking pretty good here. SPY again testing. Sorry, there's a lot going on and I'm moving around pretty quickly here. SPY testing that VWAP again. We'll see. VWAP's been tough for it so far. All right, Pete says, I think Rivian is close to a short-term top. R2 releases Thursday. It may go up until Thursday midday and then start selling off release hype. So a sell the news event. Sounds like a sell the news trade. I'll be honest, though, that trade plan so far, pretty good if it's up 12% in 2 days going into that announcement. It's not bad. So I would imagine there you'd be more willing to take gains as we get closer to that Thursday release. Maybe if it moves enough, you'll take it early. Keep us posted on that. BTC, so it traded down to 70K on the futures and bounced a little bit, currently at 70,400. And that's actually still up. So if you look at that as a risk on indicator, maybe you're thinking that the SPY or the broader market here are lagging Bitcoin a little bit. Looks to me like SPY again getting rejected at the VWAP.
AMPX, this looks like it's trying to get ready to go higher. I get the sense that this could, we're going to see some pullbacks here and there and some corrective moves, but this looks to me like we could see pretty high up into the 20s later on in the first half of this year, if not, this quarter. Hippo Hero wants me to hit him with my thoughts on BBW. Seeking Alpha put up an interesting write-up, so I'm considering a small trade rolling into earnings after its recent pullback. I will take a look.
Let's Build-A-Bear. Earnings in 2 days here on Build-A-Bear. Lion's out already. Lion, take care of yourself.
Take care, Lion.
Your tick chart, by the way, tick chart entering the positive for the first time here. And that's interesting given that the SPY was rejected at VWAP. S&P futures also rejected at VWAP. Really, that VWAP is going to be the big thing here. I don't know if we're going to have the strength to get over it. We'll see. AV also has earnings tonight. You know what? I haven't even looked at that. We took a look at some of those smaller drone players. Shame on me. AV. Here you go.
Sorry, I'm just trying to look a little bit more here at Build-A-Bear.
Let me know if you want me to go to the daily chart on that.
I mean, one thing that stands out is that the 500-day SMA is providing support for now, but I don't know how long it's going to last. I don't like that we've lost the 20-month SMA. So if we can't recapture that, if we can't get above that this month, then I do think that we could go lower. It seems to me like there's more downside before we start to see that upside. Let's see here where that downside takes us. What is that, 33? I guess I would kind of be leaning on 33 as the support area that might, be better than where we're at right now. I'm not sure. I don't think I'm particularly excited about where the price action is happening right now. It's great that we've held the 500-day SMA. It's been pretty oversold, so there does look like there's going to be a trade that maybe takes it up to about 47 or 48. It's just that as soon as we get up in that area, I don't know that we're going to go a whole lot higher. So I think in the short term, there could be some upside, maybe into the high 40s. But once we get there, I think that's the end of the party. We start to consolidate, turn around, and I think go lower.
Okay, let me go back to the main workspace here. Let's go on an intraday chart, see what we got.
Yeah, thinking about AMPX, fantastic, loving it big time.
LGVN, which got mentioned, this flirting with dollar territory now.
Yeah, I mean, I'll look at it. We looked at that earlier this morning. I'll look at it again. I think we were just talking about it too. I think the big thing for me is that it's above the 200-day SMA. We need a hold above it now. I mean, the last time we were up here last month, we only were above it for a couple of days and then we lost it. So we need to see at least 3 days above this SMA here, the 200-day SMA. But if we do manage to push higher, I think there's some more resistance coming around $6. So just that would be the first thing for me. Just need to see multiple closes above the 200-day SMA.
Okay, good stuff.
8XTI and AEHR, that's what Kathy's mentioning here. AXTI.
Here you go on AXTI.
Nice support from the 20-day SMA. That just happened on, so from Friday to Monday, we went down to the 20-day SMA. We didn't go beneath it on Friday. Yesterday we did, and buyer stepped in and said, I don't think so. And that took us back over $40, which was pretty good resistance area. Now we got to see if we can continue that upside and hit 50. The high that I've got here for the stock is 47.03. Don't think that we've got a higher print, and if we do, it's going to be much longer time ago. As a matter of fact, it is. Last time we were even up at this area was in the year 2000. You got a monthly chart, Ryan? Oh, yours might not show it back this far. But the last time the price
for ATXI,
for AXTI, yeah,
AXTI, yeah, I've got it right here.
Okay,
so here,
perfect.
Here's the monthly.
So yeah, I'm wondering, gosh, this is like I don't even know what kind of pattern this is. It looks like a U, like a very boxy looking U, but we're up at some of the all-time highs here. I don't know how much higher this goes. It's very extended too. I would think that pretty soon the next move could be down, at least on a monthly chart. That's what it looks like to me.
I mean, on this monthly chart here, this sure looks like a regression back to the mean. Probably due.
Yeah. I mean, look where the 20-month SMA is.
Yeah. Well, I have these. I hate having both of these separated. It's so hard to go back and forth from the EMAs to the SMAs, and I just can't put too many of them on the chart. Your 20 SMA is down here at 840.
Yeah, so it might help if you just have both on the chart, and then you can hide one or the other.
Yeah,
that's what I have in mind. I've got all my
I'm definitely trying to avoid having so many different. I know you can hide them, but I try to keep them separated. It's my own logistical error. That's all.
And you don't need to do individual moving averages. There's something
you can do
called
the
double or the triple or the there's 6 that you can have up. You just have to preset them so that if you don't want to have on the left side of your chart just a whole list of all the moving averages, you can turn on and off. I have my main 3. I have my main 4 for the for day trading, and then I just have the 100 and the 500 on their own and VWAP. So that's it. So it's really cleaned up the left side.
Okay, real quick here, I did want to mention, don't forget, we are doing this webinar here on Thursday. Benzinga is hosting a free virtual event this Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern called The Hottest Sector Retail Investors Are Watching Right Now, AI and What Is Next. You can scan the QR code here on your screen to register that for free. We're breaking down the AI boom, where the real opportunities might be, and how investors are positioning in high growth sectors like AI, big data, and tech, of course. You'll also hear about companies gaining exposure to these trends and the risks traders should be watching. It's free to attend, so scan the QR code or hit the link in the description to reserve your spot. Also, one more thing, I'm actually trying to bring you another guest on Thursday. I'm trying to load this week up for you guys, so Thursday should be a good one. Be sure to check out this webinar.
HIM's holding above the VWAP right now, but volume is dwindling. So that's making me think that if we continue with this to get less and less volume, we're going to lose VWAP. So need to see that volume expand here soon.
I would agree with you, and that volume has been pretty much contracting. SPY here, back down to the intraday lows. We are not that far anyway, away from the pre-market lows. That is going to be 675. We're currently at 675.50. So that first signal there, that had to be pretty quick, but not the greatest signal. We'll be a little bit more patient and see if we get a better one here today.
Beat Heartbeam. This had an ugly knife not that long ago, about 5 minutes ago, or actually 4 minutes ago. We lost multiple EMAs, including the 200. We're trying to recapture the 200 right now. I get the sense that this is going to give us some more downside here if we cannot recapture the 65 EMA. ATPC just lost its VWAP. Big old knife there. Probably going to start seeing a lot of this with some of these movers, because we are getting pretty close.
Yeah, and now it looks like the market is actually speeding up. So yeah. 675.10 was where the SPY just tested there on the downside. We'll see if it breaks it. No positions for me on SPY at the moment.
I think we're getting some weakness here in Bitcoin as well. Yep. I mean, not that it was already weak this morning, but it looked like we were getting some recovery. Now we're taking the next leg down. I get the sense that we're going to get some support from the 69,000 even level.
We broke that 70K, and so we'll see where that next support is. 13, you're spot on with that. Palantir trading down, actually seeing some Palantir put flow on the back of that move down. 150. Coherent, this is another stock that we had on the stocks to watch list here earlier. This is moving with some of those other optical names like Light. This is on the $2 billion NVIDIA investment. There's also these being added to the S&P as well. Let me make sure I have that right.
Oh my goodness. Coherent is another one of those names that probably needs a mean regression.
Really quickly, one of the things driving Coherent is that following an announcement that on Friday the companies would be added to the S&P 500 later this month. Coherent. Here's a look at your daily.
Now, the lasers that this is involved in is, it looks
lasers.
Like communications, not weaponry. That's what it looks like here. Which I think this might be more for satellites.
Yeah. Market, real quick bounce there. Again, short-lived, so we really have not firmed up and shown this type of strength that we would need for upside trades here. Every fiber optic name green by a decent amount. Indeed, they are.
Looks like AMPX still trying to push into the 1850 area.
Marvell popped out of the open and pulled back a little bit. Wow, seeing some big CCJ puts. That might be a spread. If that's that's
Inked. INKT. Support from the 65 EMA. We're moving through the 9 and 15 EMAs, trying to get to VWAP again. That's at 16,898.
See if we get to the VWAP here on Inked. Actually, I haven't even looked at that yet.
Why is this up today so much? Oh, they had earnings yesterday. So just one of the names that I keep an eye on here because it's tied to SpaceX. Voyager had earnings yesterday.
Ooh, I actually didn't look at that at all.
They, of course, they still lose money, but they lost a lot less.
Was a good thing.
Yeah. But, I really don't think this is a super fantastic until we can get the Starship going, which we're supposed to be getting a launch here maybe this month. I'll keep you posted.
All right, SPY trying to bounce again here.
Diamond, are you not? What's going on, Diamond? I already talked about Neo after you asked. You not seeing the stream, or are you late? What's going on? I already talked about it. All right.
Seeing some Tesla calls get bought here. Tesla trading higher. SPY is bouncing here. Still not above the VWAP, 676.
HIMS lost its VWAP. It's been holding above it since we opened, and now we're trading beneath it, trying to recapture right now. If this recapture fails, down I think we go.
SpaceX IPO is going to be lit. I think the same thing, dude. I think the same thing.
That could cause a number of names to run.
Yeah.
VELO would be probably one of them. Yep. I really like the company. I like the product.
How's that doing today? Just out of curiosity.
It's up about 4%.
Okay.
We mentioned LTRX yesterday. I think, I remember that. LTRX. How's that doing today? Lantronix is up a little bit, 8%. Got some no news today. So it's interesting that the last piece of news is with MediaTek. That's a very big personal computer integrated circuits company. They're pretty much on almost every motherboard.
Yep. Look at that. So SPY so far has done a good job defending 675, but we really can't recapture the VWAP on any of these defense bounces. So not sure these are really tradable yet.
Inked still trying to push higher, trying to get back up to VWAP, but the volume is very low. So it's going to be a slow mover. It's like we got some holding here on some of these other names. QRE. That's that was up earlier this morning in the pre-market at 1950. It's selling off now, down around 18.
Coles has kept going, so we haven't seen any fade yet on Coles.
That's KSS.
Correct.
Probably. This is a short squeeze candidate, and it is short squeezing. It had earnings, yes, but I think the high short interest with the high days to cover is also giving it an extra lift.
33.6% of the float is shorted there.
Yeah. And it's going to take a long time to cover, over a week. AC/DC on the highway to heaven. That's not that. It's
I see what you did there.
It's the other location.
I see what you did there.
What's going on with ProFrac? You think that we see a lot more of this off the oil trade. I mean, I think one of the things here that's interesting is that it's a got a pretty good amount of short interest. It's not in our parameters, but short interest is high. Let me look at the chart here and see where this could go.
675 test on SPY coming. Boy, there were a number of bounces here. Part of me wonders if this just gives it up right here. Let's see.
ACDC, this is already on a highway to hell, but if it can recapture the 20-day SMA and hold above it for more than 1 month, then I think we got our turnaround here. Looks like the next big resistance area is going to be around 8, but that 20-month SMA, need to recapture that first. We have earnings in 2 days. Maybe that provides us with some upside.
675 has broken, so SPY might be hunting new lows here. I don't know if you've got a spot at 673, but I'm almost thinking 672 next.
Seeing a lot of names pull right now.
Yep. This is the waiting. And by the way, that inked that you were talking about, that's moving its way back up to the VWAP, but just cannot get above it. So that would also be another one to watch for a potential pull here.
Yeah, and that would be stinked.
Ha. Not bad. Oh, man. Daylight savings time still getting me, guys.
I recovered. I'm good to go.
Yeah, it's last year. It was the Tuesday that I really got hit, and it looks like that's what's happening again here today. I did all right, though. I got some sleep last night. Go get in there. Sorry.
Billy mentioning Intuit, 450. How's this been recovering? Let me take a look here because I know that we were
down 5% here. Doesn't look like it is recovering.
Well, I mean, it had.
I'm being a smartass. Sorry.
Okay. 500 looking like a resistance area, but we are already moving down. 450, you're thinking of support. I could see that. We had some consolidation there from last month that may provide support, but if not there, then the 20-day SMA at 410.85. Also saw that Albert was mentioning that Beyond, it's just Beyond, right? We're not talking meat anymore. Beyond ready to reclaim above $1.
LFMD ran right to that $4 resistance area. Billy also mentioning ZVRA.
This thing is still down around 75 cents. I don't think we're anywhere near $1 recapture until we can show that we've been able to hold above the 50-day SMA. We still have 80 cents, which is another resistance area. So you have 80 cents, the 50-day SMA, and then $1 before you actually can see a close above it. This thing has not seen the upside of the top side of $1 for too many days this year.
Inked is recapturing its VWAP. We'll see if it can hold and push above. 17 is going to be one of those levels there on Inked. Come on.
Oh, right to VWAP. Perfect. So that's working. Now we might get some resistance here, but with a little bit more volume, we may be able to recapture that. And if we do, looks to me like 1775 is the next resistance after VWAP.
Inked up 60%. Coles popped again. I think that tell you what, that thing's been straight up, Coles. Tiny Pie's right. When he's right, he's right, and he's right. Just saying.
All right. Where are we at today for the year with these? So what do you think, Jay? Think we should be looking back at consumer staples? Strange how costs move inversely.
I'm like sitting on the edge here. Like what's he trying to compare that to?
Probably to the market.
I mean, if it's, if that's viewed as a defensive name, that would make sense today. Costco's earnings are out of the way.
What are you thinking, Jay, for the next trade? I mean, I think long-term staples aren't too bad. That was one of the more hammered down sectors last year. I think there's still plenty of upside left for those. Costco, though, if this does have some more upside, I think I'd be looking at 1040 as the resistance, or it could reverse. This is I have a site, I have a channel here that I've got with Costco, and that's about the top end of it. So we'll see if we can break above that or not.
What was that other earning? Oracle. Duh. Sorry.
That's funny, Joe. Inked resistance at VWAP.
Indeed.
Nope.
It actually peaked above my VWAP, but it didn't stay there for very long, and it certainly didn't build. SPY is trying to hold 675. Anyone trust it?
Nice move in AMPX. We lost VWAP, and then we blasted off to a new session high. So we have what might be a megaphone pattern forming here, which if this is the case, I think that we're going to probably see 19 here too. Too expensive. Even the one, I mean, I don't think all of them are too expensive, but you're not wrong. There's a lot that have kind of had a nice recovery, but I still think that there's some that are pretty cheap. The pool is just much smaller. And I think some of these have been getting a pretty good pullback as well. I'm not buying anything right now.
Yeah, neither am I. I feel like I'm sitting on my hands here.
Even for a longer term, I'm just kind of waiting. I want to just get solid signs of bottoming here. The SPY needs a presidential injection. Well, wait until after the market hour, or wait until the afternoon.
And if you're a Benzinga Pro subscriber, you can always filter a news feed by SPY and have all of those big news, including the presidential interjections, as they're being named, just piped to you in a consolidated feed.
Yeah, GB Slice. I saw that yesterday, and I was like, oh, okay. Because I'm, and you can pull this news up on NDAQ, and I'm just not sure if I like this. It might be great, but I'm not sure. I mean, because it's gonna enable 24/7 trading. You know what? Let's look at Walmart, Jay. Let's look at it. Because even when we anticipate pullbacks, it doesn't pull back very much. I mean, the last time we actually got a meaningful pullback, or corrective move for that matter, was in last year, around the same time. We had a 24% correction from the highs in February 2025. That took us to the low, the April 7th low, and that was really the only meaningful. I mean, that was probably the opportunity of all opportunities for Walmart. I don't think we've seen a corrective move that big in a very long time. I don't think that it was. Let's see here. It was about the same corrective move that they got from when Ukraine was invaded by Russia. So it's been 3 years.
SMDK getting mentioned. Haven't looked at those memory names. This is up another 3.5% here.
I guess I get your point there, Jay. I think that for me, let's see if there's probably an opportunity if it falls beneath the 50-day SMA. Let's see if let's see what it does with that. Seems like every time we have a 50-day SMA loss, it kind of consolidates underneath it and then it rips to new highs. That's probably the play.
Fairly big put sweep here on TSM, 1.13 million. They took 256 contracts of the 350 September puts. So that is in the money there. 1.13 million TSM.
This is Jay. This is for their like nuclear power. I mean, that's one country that's been behind the curve in a lot of things lately. Yeah, I don't know what more to add. They're very behind on the times. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why they have such a huge trade deficit. Or is it surplus? Whatever one whatever one's more problematic for them. Nuclear energy versus solar energy. Nuclear is better. Well, I'll say this, Wendy. I think when it comes to solar, there's going to be some rising real estate issues, especially when it comes to California. I know that there's a lot of solar farms propping up there, but that has some of the most expensive real estate. So it's no wonder that the state loves solar. I mean, you get these big rectangles that soak up sunlight, and they get a massive tax bill.
A pretty decent bounce in the SPY here, but once again, not above the VWAP. 676.91 is the VWAP. We're currently at 676 and a quarter.
Haven't really seen a whole lot of sustained upside moves. They get up to a spot like a resistance area, and then they say, "Okay, thanks, goodbye."
Yep, and they get swatted right back down. And if you're not buying the weakness, you're chasing the move higher, and you're probably getting stopped out on that.
Yeah, that's one big. And here's the thing too, because when I think of Germany, one of the big things that comes to my mind is their automobiles. Their gasoline powered automobiles. So kind of makes a little bit less sense that they try to transition to some of these green energy initiatives when a lot of their big exports are fossil fuel driven.
All right, SPY VWAP test. This one's going to be important here. No position for me, unfortunately. This will probably be the bounce that takes us above the VWAP.
Ooh. Yeah, I guess we still need to wait for. We still need to hold above the 676. Sorry, I was trying to. I was reading and trying to execute a thought at the same time. It didn't work out. I don't buy NEO because it's a Chinese stock. I don't. Well, that's part of the reason. I don't have a hard time trusting numbers out of Chinese stocks, but I also have a hard time getting on board with anything that has to do with overcapacity. I mean, I don't think that it's a good company without the subsidies that these Chinese companies get. So if they stop getting subsidies, then they're done. I don't want to I don't want to touch that kind of risk.
SPY is through the VWAP here, so we'll see if this can hold above and build.
Porsche number is down. It's interesting too because we remember Hakeem's been talking about how Ferrari could be good.
Yeah, race. How's that doing today?
And we get numbers like Jay was just telling us here about how Porsche is down, profits are down big time. So not sure if that's more indicative of the the luxury side of the market, or if that's just Volkswagen making mistakes. Because I think they're still pretty big into solid state batteries right now. They still a big majority stakeholder in QS. Or am I mistaken?
Really quickly, this SPY bounce is continuing. So I am unfortunate that I am not in this one. I did get a buy indicator on there, and I just didn't take it because I watched these bounces not work earlier. Also, S&P futures right at the VWAP here. So this would be interesting if this can take out 67.80.
Okay, so yes, Volkswagen is still a major shareholder in QuantumScape. They have about 17 to 26% of the company. So that could be one of the reasons why that's so stagnant there. That's right. They do. I didn't recall the XPEV one,
Inc.
but the Rivian. That's what that's right.
Inked, your junk stock here. This is breaking away now. This is breaking away to the downside, I guess I should say. This doesn't, I'll tell you what, that VWAP projection, that was the death knell. SPY continuing to try and trade higher here.
Stinked.
That's what it is now. Indeed. Ondas highs.
Hims lower as well. All right, what are we looking at here? Because it seems like we're just kind of holding our breath.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't have anything great, and the SPY bounce, I did not have a good feel on it here today. So I am kind of in a holding pattern myself at the moment. 13.
So
thankfully Ondas working.
previous all-time high of 678.47. That was resistance earlier this morning. We came up to that around. We hit it as soon as we opened. Got rejected. I get the sense the next visit could see a break through that. I believe that if we do get through that, we're testing 680.
Zach, Matt, we didn't look at this. CRISPR had an offering here this morning. 350 million convertible senior notes offering. CRISPR down 7%, but it is trying to hold 54.
SP, right? Yeah. Okay. That's ugly. So this, okay. This just had an awful day of losing some very important SMAs. So if we can't recapture the 200-day SMA, then I think we test the 500. So that's going to take us down to 51 and change.
All right, here you go. Yeah, 13, I think I'd be in agreement with you. It's also worth noting that our volume point of control for all of this year and into the fall, 55.68. Let me back that out and see how that, nope. That is going to be that 55 and change level is going to be extremely important.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you're right. They do have cash, and they have a lot of cash and short-term investments, but they do lose a lot of money every quarter. So I don't know if there's something coming up to where they needed that extra 350. Also pretty heavily shorted too. 26 of the float is percent of the float is shorted with 13 days to cover.
SPY bounce monster right here. SPY bounce monster.
Now, Jay, when it comes to the electrical grid, are you also looking at names that are in the utility space, or specifically just on the electrical grid build out?
Several of you folks are mentioning FIGR here, Figure Technology. This is ripping. This actually did break its pre-market high. Take care of yourself, Brent.
Take care, Brent.
Thanks for hitting the like on our stream and supporting us. We'll see you tomorrow.
Let's see here. AMPX, new highs, 1869. Yeah, Jay, I'm kind of on this this one here that could be good for the grid. It's I mentioned it to you earlier. I think it was last week. AMSC. But there's also some other ones out there that could be good. Let's see.
S&P futures through the VWAP here. We'll see if this can hold and build like the SPY did.
I mean, one of the names, Jay, would be like GE Vernova, but we already know that's been taken off. Otherwise, I'm sure you've looked at Quanta and Mastech. Let's look at some of these other ones here. Nope, that's not.
NVIDIA, this is interesting. NVIDIA calls here 182.50. These expire March 13th. They bought 4,600 of them, paid 1.82 million. That is a big NVIDIA trade there. Looks upside to me. All right, 13. We're going to move over to Anne Marie here in a minute. You got any closing words for the group on a Tuesday? Oops.
Real quick here, Jay, some name I could do some looking into and find some grid names for you, but a lot of those are, like you said, they've already run. I mean, Maztec would be one of the first ones I'd go to, and that's already hitting all-time highs. But I'll see if I can find some more. But folks, hey, another fun day here. We've got to see some moving around back and forth the market that provided some pretty decent trades. Loving that AMPX is still working pretty well for us, and liking that we're able to find some winners and make a little bit of money here. Would prefer to see some more follow through on some of these breakouts. Just a lot of sideways consolidation, but I'm glad that we're able to still make a little bit of money. So pocket that change. Come back here tomorrow. We'll hopefully find some more things that are moving, and we'll make some money then. Take care, everybody. Enjoy Anne-Marie. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.
All right, 13, we will definitely do that. Have a good one. We'll see you later. 13's departure leaves room for Anne-Marie. Let's check in with her and see how she's doing. Anne-Marie, happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday to you. How
you doing with this volatile reversals and all of that?
Well, you know what? Seasonality called that we would have the bounce yesterday.
Oh, I thought it was closer to the 15th. Shame on me.
Yeah, actually, there's two of them. So real quick, I'm going to show you this quick picture.
Yeah, let me put your charts up there.
Yeah, I'll show you this quick picture. And so we'll take a look at that in a second, but let me show you this interesting picture. Oh, crudsickles. All right, hang on.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Crudsicles are making an appearance again.
Oh, dear. It's a morning of crudsicles. Long story short, we've got two sticky bits that are coming around the bend. Today is going to be jagged sideways motion. Jagged sideways motion into the edge of the week, potentially more of the same, and then a little bit of a fade down maybe Friday and then back up again on Monday. So it's going to be very sideways, very, very, very sideways. So what's the takeaway there? The broad market may not give the average performing stock any kind of tailwind, but it also might not give it too much of a headwind. So let's jump into Oracle. Why don't we have a peek at that?
Yeah, that's perfect. Oracle reports earnings here tonight. This is the biggest one of the night here. Jay saying Oracle, the good news regarding this report is that the bar is pretty low.
Yeah, so they are probably going to beat, but the flip side is how are they going to guide and how much are they going to tell us that they're going to spend? And that's probably it. Now, notice this, very interesting from a weekly perspective. We have high, low, lower high, lower low, last earnings, lower high, lower low, but look at the momentum. Momentum is divergent. And so with the divergent momentum, we're going to look over to where the last pockets of earnings are. And we're going to see what that support is, but that the dip will very likely be a buy. Very, very likely be a buy zone. So the question might be, hey, are you investing in Oracle or are you just looking for a trade? And so that answer in itself is going to tell you what you need to do. This would be an investment event if you said, hey, you know what? I'm going to take a leap. I think these guys are going to run right back up into their last earnings pocket. which we know they have a tendency to do from this earnings analysis. They will move from one pocket to the next. And so this, I think, would be quite lovely. The question is how much time? So if, again, we look at seasonality, we know that our summertime is going to be kind of crummy, but come October, September, we're going to have a very strong end of the year if all else stays the same. And so what we might think about there is taking something into September, October and making it something that's a home run style thing. You just don't want to touch it at this juncture, right? So you would leave it alone. So let's do the big long trade first. Let's give it December. And let's go, let's go 190, 210. That's $20, right? 230. 40 cents for $2. So, excuse me, $20. So $40 is all you're going to put into this position. $40. It's a typical asymmetric bet that it recovers, that it has the time to move into the next earnings space. You might go, but Anne-Marie, it's got 2 other earnings before that. Yes, it does. But this is talking about the long-term hold of the stock recovering its price action. So what's at risk? $40. General reward, here's what you can do. You can hold it until the next earnings event, which would be, I don't know, somewhere in June, maybe, something like that. If you do that, June, July, and it's popped up here, you cover it. It might only be worth $3, $4. Guess what? That's already 10x for you.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Right? So that is an absolutely asymmetric bet. If, however, you believe Larry Ellison and the gang is going to fall further, then you can do the same thing, because the next drift, they've already tested this earnings pocket. The next drift will be the earnings pocket that's around 125. Momentum is not telling us that's the case right now.
Okay.
So you might want to wait to post earnings and then say, okay, I'll take something in June. And then, or if you're very bearish, you could say, I think that before the next earnings, these guys are going to melt down or whatever. So you take June and you go to the 130, 120, 110, 70 cents. Right? That one is $70 for $1,000 of upside. Again, another asymmetric bet, but time is your friend. And this is the most important thing to realize. When you do make asymmetric bets, time has got to be your friend.
Now, with this, given the pricing of these options and the potential reward in either direction, is this an opportunity where maybe taking both makes sense here, because you're going to get paid whichever direction it moves? Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. For me, I'm going to move. I would move in the direction of trend and momentum, thinking that it's going to hold. However, if it breaks down and it moves down into the next space, I'll go back and, buy it for 10 cents and just increase my position size on the updraft, because I do think these software guys, the baby has been thrown out with the bathwater in a lot of them. Yeah, they're spending a lot. or they're committing to spending a lot, but you've noticed some of them are walking back on that. And they're saying, hey, maybe we won't, maybe we don't, that sort of thing. So that's
Retro here saying Oracle dropping open AI contract. That may show that they have been saving money.
Yeah, and
So maybe
you're
that'll
seeing
help.
that a lot. You're seeing them saying, yeah, we can't really spend all that. Sorry, just kidding. And right? I mean,
Just kidding.
yeah. And so that is certainly what I'm looking at. So that would be that. And let's look at, is this the next one?
AV. That's the other big earnings report tonight, indeed.
All right. So
Drone play, a lot of stuff going on with this one.
okay, so super interesting price structures. Feeling like a nothing burger here. So let's see how much the options are going to be. Let's see what they're pricing in. What? Holy smokes. Okay, so the vol is really high here. Okay, so let's see what happened last time. For the weekly formation, inside candlestick for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. So all of the premium dying right there. This one breaks out. So that's nice. That's a trending event. This one breaks out. Also nice, trending event. But all of them inside of this pocket. So, all right. Fall, big inside candle. If I were a betting man, I would pick an iron condor here because it looks so bad. This looks terrible. This is like
it looks like we got a double top there. It looks like we have a head and shoulders with like a rabbit ears double top forming in the middle. If that ends up forming the right shoulder, I mean, I that's what I see. I literally want to draw a little rabbit face on that chart. It's wild.
Yeah, it's so here's the thought. The thought is that it actually holds 190. This is my thought. My thought is that it holds 190. But it could really drift into these guys over here, right? It spent a whole slurry of time there. And if we put the box around these guys, I mean, same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 earnings literally in this pocket. And that old resistance is what they're battling against right here. So, wow. Let's see. 68 is what they're estimating. 44, 32, 161. 30, 40. Wow, these guys are all over the place. Okay, if I would say wait until after earnings, but
okay,
let's say the vol is so good, right? So let's do this. Let's see, 175 and then 285. If we gave it 10 days, 175, not a ton here. Nope, can't do that. These chains are a little light. Yeah, 175.
Might after earnings, might you see more volume in some of these chains too? Is that always a possibility?
Potentially.
Okay.
Potentially that sounds fair. I don't think we could get this one filled because it's so thin.
Sure.
But that's a very nice credit. It's a very, very nice credit taken up into the edge of the formation. We might need to 190 to 300, to be honest. But this one, I'm very surprised that the chains are not active. The vol is, look at this. I mean, vol sellers are going to win this one. No doubt about it. The vol sellers are going to win it. I would say post earnings, you know what the edges are. You want it to bounce here. If it doesn't bounce here, it is very likely to leak into 120. Very likely to leak into 120. And so from that perspective, you just wait it out. If it comes here and you go, hey, I want to take the 190 for a long because you believe in it, you know, again, because of what is happening in the broad market right now, we've got sideways pressure all over the place. You could go in at that, yeah, my brain totally forgot, at that 190 area and just buy a spread, 190 to 200, right? And it probably would be worth a third of that, $2, right? You probably can get that for $2 with $1,000 of total upside. But at this juncture, I wouldn't be doing anything pre-earnings. The vol is just way too high and the chains are way too thin. Holy smokes, look at the market run.
I know. Anne Marie, I'm sorry for being quiet here. I'm sitting here.
I know you're disgusted.
I was trying to stock an entry into this SPY bounce, and I actually tried one of the bounces, got stopped out small, did not hit this bounce that is just running like absolute crazy. This would have been, after yesterday's big move near the end of the day, this would have been icing on the cake, and I just straight up missed it. I grade myself an F. I did poorly today. And I'm watching this thing continue to trade higher and higher. No, this was just on the
general breakout.
No, this I'm actually looking for 0 DTE call trading on SPY. And I have another indicator that I've developed for this that gives entry signals. And it looked early like the 575 pre-market was going to hold. And it dipped beneath it, recaptured it, and it absolutely screamed to the upside here. Just absolutely screaming to the. I actually just got an indicator to take gains right here, which is like adding insult to injury.
That is actually a really good for you building something like that, because that looks like a great place in the chart to take profit.
I'm going to send you the. I'm going to take a screenshot and send it to you. Oh, gosh, now I'm misclicking on everything. I'm straight. Anne-Marie, this time change has screwed me up again.
It's been rough for me, too.
When you wake up at 4:30 in the morning and all of a sudden you have to wake up at 3:30 in the morning, it's just like...
Yeah.
I'm just coping. Ignore me. Ignore me. We'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, that would be very, very interesting to see.
Yeah, I'm still green today, but I could be bigly green, like and Trump, bigly green today.
A lot of times when we get like that and we go, oh man, that ends up being negative fuel for the body. So just,
Indeed. And the thing for me is like right now, I'm like, you can't chase this. You cannot revenge trade. Just wait it out and be more patient. Don't screw this up.
Absolutely. But really good trigger event. Really, really good trigger event.
Yeah, it's just, it's really good. Okay. Do you have any more that you wanted to do? I know these were the two important ones, I feel like.
Yeah. So, let's see what scan.
If we have two from the chat here, Micron and Tech, if you want those two. That's Tech, TECK. Micron first, though.
Okay, MU. Beast. Look at this. This thing has just really recovered. Seasonality looks really bad for this one. In general, it's got a spike up and then just a pretty solid rotation down into frontline support. These guys have been running pretty sideways for several weeks. So they
Now, you know,
Go ahead.
really quick, we got recent news here about Micron, how
Oh.
NVIDIA is not going to use them. They're going to use SK Hynix and Samsung. But this is on the back of the news that Micron's supply is taken for all of 2026. So part of me is wondering if this sideways trading that you're alluding to or that you're outlining here is kind of like the digestion between these two things. I have a tough time. I mean, if AI continues, the market keeps going up, memory is going to be important. I have a tough time saying that this won't at least try to break that high.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, it's got divergent momentum. My thought here is, let's see when these guys report. The 18th. So what they're trying to do now is recover heavy congestion from this zone here. Really, it should be, oh, that's right at the top where we're sitting right here. So that's a topping formation for this pressure event, but it's got bullish momentum. And so the real price action is going to be, hey, from this zone, do we break to the north? You know, this again is one of those things where you go, short cycle trades, folks, are just not going to give you asymmetric bets, meaning risk without significant, reward without significant risk events. And so we've got a ton of sideways pressure. We're holding the floor, but we can't break the ceiling. And so this is a general pennant formation. So pennants do normally break in the direction of the pole. Seasonality pointing straight up later in the year, but right now it's pretty wiggly, right? And between this little motion and the 15th, it's an up-down event. It's pretty sideways. So what I would try to do if you were looking at something like this is really try to time it with the cues. And, do you want to trade it long into the next earnings and then get off the train before earnings? That's possible. You could buy a spread using, these are just general pivots. You can say, I'm going to buy we can use the pivot from the breakout today. We could buy the 390s and then sell the 415s, but those are going to be expensive. They're going to be expensive. And so this is just sideways motion. If you say, hey, I want to buy it, sure, you could get a fair reward, but the question is, how much do you want to risk? And so if we stare it down and we say, if we take a look at it and we go, all right, let's go to April. The vol is pretty high. And so if you say, oh, crud, I'm always forgetting. If you say 400 to 420, let's say that's what you're doing. It's going to be in the money, 400 to 420. So you've got a holy cow, that's only a delta of 7. And you're paying half the size of the spread. So I don't like it. For a delta of 7, I don't want to pay that, right? It would be, I probably would have the same delta of 7 if I went 330 to 350. Yeah, look, it's cheaper, but I still get a delta of 7. So, it's just not to me, this is an ideal iron condor. It's a 350 on the bottom and 450 on the top. I don't see it as a giant breakaway. I don't. Could it be? Sure. But I just don't. I'm sorry. I know I sound like a grandma, but here's what I know. I've been trading for 2.5 decades, and we are in a very high risk environment. It's a very high risk environment. Why? Because the volatility moves very fast. And let's take a look at this. The VVIX has been doing nothing but climbing over the long haul. It keeps making higher lows. And remember, the VVIX is the volatility of the VIX itself. And when that VVIX continues to trend upward, it's telling us there's a problem if the dips are being bought for the VVIX. And so we're seeing that a ton. And that's why I'm looking at it that way. If you want to trade into those earnings events, then you can try butterfly. But outright spreads, no, just not a good idea. Not a good idea at all. Somebody said tech.
Yes.
Hang on 2 seconds. Okay, so, okay, for some reason, is that a linear regression event? No.
That looks like a standard deviation channel to me.
Yeah, it did look quite to be, and I don't normally plot those, so that's very interesting that one was sitting there. Okay, so let's take a look at this, just in general trend. Tech, it's bouncing with the rest of the broad market, which,
Yep.
could easily have a couple of days on it. It's got a dividend. This is post earnings. It's fallen below the post earnings event, which means it's in a shorting event into the prior earnings. Which is all the way back here. So I'm guessing that's not quite where it's going to go. Let's go peak to trough on this. Oh, look at that. It just hit the 150 right there off of this peak to trough that lasted 4 months. So looks like they're going to try and get back up to 56. So what would I do? Looks like if we take it to the 20th, you don't want a lot of time. You could go regular, straight out the 55, follow the rest of everybody. The options theoretical value is $2.04. So you're getting it on the cheap. If you wanted to sell a little bit of premium into it, you could sell the 60. That probably is where it's going to end up at the most. I don't really think it gets back up there, but the next shot, the first entry would be the base of the earnings candle, and then the next entry, the target would be the high of the earnings candle. So going outright and buying the spread at 93 cents, it looks pretty good. That's what I would say. Short term, I think it's going to run for the next couple of days, provided the market does what it's going to do. What is your risk event? Maybe you buy one of these. If it comes back and holds the front line of support at 51, you buy another one. And so your total outlay might be $130 with $1,000 of upside if it goes all the way to 60, because you'd have 5 times 2, right? So you'd be spending 150 for 2x of the 5. So that works pretty well. It's got a delta of 23, so not awful, especially if you think it's going to run, which it bounced off of the 150, so it should come up into the 250 area and the base of that earnings candle.
Okay, one quick question before we get out of here. Arden's asking, what is the indicator she's using that shows the potential price action heading into forward months?
That is a custom seasonality indicator that was built by a client of mine who was asking me to review it. I've been reviewing it for a while, but it is his, and so I'm not allowed to give it out.
Yeah, Arden, I'm still waiting for that one too. So you're going to have to keep waiting, I'm afraid. But Anne-Marie, thank you very much. Really good stuff. We're going to still have you here again on Friday, right?
Oh, yes, except for something that I have to sort. So thank you for reminding me of that. I will get back to you. That might be a no.
Okay, so we don't know.
Yes,
so we will
know.
see if we have Anne-Marie on Friday. Okay, yeah, definitely let me know, and I will arrange the schedule as needed. So,
thank you.
Okay, Anne-Marie, really good stuff here today. Thank you very much. Have a good one. We'll see you when we see you.
Yeah, all right, bye.
Take care, Anne-Marie. All right, folks, we are done here for today. Another busy day in the books. What a bounce here on SPY. I've just been trying to tell you guys that the world's not ending. I've been trying to tell you. Some listen, some don't, but that's where we're at. Huge bounce here on SPY. We're currently signing off here above 681. Let's see what tomorrow brings. Stay green, stay safe, stay focused,